Yeah, I find it really inspiring.
Ishmael, could you quickly check the cold calling script?
Oh, I would, but I'm just on a training call right now. Where did you send it?
WhatsApp. It's working pretty well. I booked a couple of meetings. Just wanted to make sure.
No. This is with the live transfer offer.
Yes.
No, what the fuck are you doing? What the fuck are you doing? Granted, we can. Market, I'm happy to see that you're very comfortable with the teddy bear. Yeah, you relax, girl. You enjoy. All of the rest of you sitting up straight, please. Thank you very much. So we're gonna go over just a cold calling script because I'm just going to show you guys how to look at it and understand it. And then today we're going to be spending some time on intellectual bias. Wonderful. Because they are arguably the easiest close. French.
Yeah, I had a question regarding energy. So the problem is when I don't when I'm not in a fight or flight mode, or I do not drink caffeine like Red Bull or coffee, I'm completely tired, not capable of doing nothing. And for example, this afternoon I just slept like for 5 hours. So the problem is in being such a young age, being all the time in a fight or flight stage isn't that good. So what do you think I should do? Because like I'm already drinking a lot of caffeine, so
You're in a fight or flight state.
I'm not right now, but I was most of the time this year.
Let's see. I believe it was similar to Alexander the Great, who was 1 year younger than you when he was, expanding Rome, leading soldiers into war. Yeah, I feel like his readings, you may be able to relate to them with your fight or flight and his fight or flight. I think they'd be very similar. What do you think?
I would say it is based just on our awake, not on productivity, but on our awake.
So we're not comparing your cold calling to his conquering and massacring of empires.
No.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to confirm, just so I can get a full grasp of it.
Okay.
Leo, understand that if all your energy comes from caffeine, you cannot take away caffeine from the picture.
That's the problem, because then I'm addicted to caffeine.
What do you mean addicted to coffee?
It's a drug, like nicotine is the same shit.
It's not how addiction works.
When I'm, for example, today and yesterday, I didn't drink coffee or any Red Bull stuff. Also, like literally, I'm just so tired I don't get anything done. So sure, I just drink coffee like a stupid idiot.
Leo, that's not how caffeine and addiction works. Addiction is very different. People just don't understand it. You're not addicted to caffeine, but if you're going to live on a caffeine diet, you live on a caffeine diet, or you live without it. Pick one or the other. You can't go in between.
Okay.
Either do it without caffeine or do it with caffeine, but understand when you don't drink caffeine, you're going to crash.
That's what happened.
You'll need more and more and more. Like I can comfortably get through 8 Red Bulls a day. I won't even recognize anything. And there'll be no difference.
I see.
Yes. Granted, I don't think I answered your question, but I saw your new profile picture.
Yeah.
I don't really want. I saw the updated profile pictures. Yeah, very strange. So, let us begin. Cold calling, and then intellectual bias, and then I will shit on someone's sale call. Akian might be doing a session today. I know he was meant to leave, but he actually misses you guys. He pretends he doesn't give a shit. He genuinely misses you guys. I said, you know what? Let me train him today. Endurance left. I think he thinks he's racist. Wonderful. So I'm just getting up the Arslan's apparent adjustment to the cold calling script, which isn't an adjustment. So for all of you who know, this is the Hyperlina. This is the cold calling script. Yes. Is it showing? Yes. There we go. So we're changing this for the live transfer model. Now I'm automatically not happy with this because Arslan, what are the benefits of the live transfer model?
No ads.
No. It doesn't affect the client. I need to stop asking questions. Honestly, at one point, I'm just going to just speak non-stop and not like ask for feedback. I feel like that slows us down. So you have to recognize that all they care about is how does it impact them. They don't care about, as Ozan said, the ad side because the ads never impact them. Right? The benefit of not mentioning the ads is it doesn't hurt them when they see it leave their bank account. But in this case here, we need to emphasize the live transfer model, right? So everything is more or less the same. I'll change this. So let's read it out loud. Hey, is this Michael? Hi, this is Arslan. We haven't spoken before. Can I let you know why I'm calling? So we're working with agents in Toronto right now, and it's going really well. We do live transfers, calls, providing buyers and sellers. Can I briefly let you know why it's going so well? It should only take 15 seconds. Sure. Simple two-step process. First step is leads, but we handle it ourselves. The second step, the second step is our agents are trained to vet every single prospect. And if they are not at the standard of a live transfer ready to speak to you, we won't send them to you. What this means is our agents have a very good conversion rate. I don't know what that means, Arslan. Don't know what it means. Now, rather than telling you this, we can show you our systems in 15 minutes. Do you think we can book it in? So we are working with agents in Toronto right now. It's going really well.
Would you add qualified buyers and sellers, providing qualified buyers and sellers?
Send you is qualified live transfer calls with no qualified. Always send you. Always send you is live transfer calls with qualified buyers and sellers. It's a killer new model, and I'm sure it'll take 15 seconds. Not cheap. It only takes 15 seconds to explain. They say, sure. So we're working with agents in Toronto right now, and it's going really well since we only work on performance. And all we send you is live transfer calls with qualified buyers and sellers. It's a killer new model. It only takes 15 seconds to explain. Can I let you know? Right? They say either go fuck yourself or they say sure. Right? And you say, this is not necessary. First step is we have in-house lead generation. Why? What did I tell you about the fucking word but, Arslan?
Never use but.
There we go. Also, using the but is wrong, in case you didn't know. Yeah.
However,
first step is we have in-house lead generation, something we handle ourselves. the next step. The next step is our agents, our nice and easy, our trained agents. That takes away a few words from here, which is nice. Vet every single prospect. And when they are hot, we make a live transfer ready for them to speak to you. When they are hot, we make a live transfer. So they are ready to speak to you. All we need is for you to organize a meet, close a deal. Now, I can tell you our model is killer, but I want to show you. Speak for 15 minutes. And a nice ending. All I ask is that if you hate it, you let me know. And if you love it, we get started. Pew, 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 pew. Are you happy with this?
Yes, thank you.
Wonderful. Would you guys like me to put this into the school community? Yes. Okay, give me 2 seconds. Here you go. What's your depressing question?
So about saying that it's a new model, like you kill a new model, is it meant to the pricing structure of it, or that those things are live transfers?
It's just it's a cool way to say it. It's a killer model. I guess
Oh, right.
behind what you're saying.
Because today I had like an objection where someone said that there are a bunch of other live transfer agencies, and it just comes down to pricing. And then I didn't tell them the pricing, tried to get them on the call, but
So let's not down to pricing, it's down to quality.
yeah, I tried to explain that to him, but he just wanted basically he knew other agencies that did the same thing I was doing.
What do you do in that case? You hang up.
Yeah.
Wonderful. New offer for.
You also use bot at the end. Is that fine? Now I can tell you our model is killer, but I want to show you.
In this case, it's fine. There you guys go. Wonderful. So let's kick it off today with intellectual bias. Now, I'm hesitant to ask this question because it's such an easy question, but someone's going to fuck it up. What is an intellectual bio? Well, I know Ernest knows. That's no fun. No one else is comfortable answering what is an intellectual bio. Ernest, please.
So it is a person who doesn't care about their pain or about their emotions. Very often, these are people who actually have made money, and the only thing they're actually caring about is the ROI that the investment is gonna make.
Oh.
Yeah, and very often in my opinion, they're actually buyers that are more willing to buy because they don't have a problem with spending 10K as long as you are competent enough to explain them, hey, if you put this this is what we're gonna get you. If you want more, no problem, as long as you have the capacity.
Wonderful. Very good. Did that not make sense to anybody? Good. So today we go over. Oh, just need to change something here. Intellectual bias. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Cool. So I actually wanted to do this. So I'm trying to figure out the perfect way to make presentations for you guys that aren't too complicated or do what needs to happen. So let's see if this works. Can you guys, okay, there we go. So you guys are seeing the swapping? But intellectual bias. Definition. Yeah. An intellectual buyer they buy based on purchasing decisions. They look at knowledge, research, understanding of the product or the service. They focus on the value and are willing to pay more for a product that provides a long-term value that meets their needs. They spend significant time researching and evaluating options before making a purchase. Now, why may this be the case? I don't know what the fuck is up with my English. So, an example of an intellectual buyer is they have 7 deals that will dictate their behaviors. They have 7 deals coming, right? Now, why are they willing to pay more? Because these 7 deals are about 10K each. They've got 70,000 in the bank. You tell them it's going to cost 10,000. They're not going to care because they don't look at it from this type of frame. They're well above their expenses. They're living the good life. And all they care about is changing 170 to 170. Does that make sense? Another example of an intellectual buyer would be someone who is familiar, right? They are very familiar with the market. They've closed lots of deals. They may not have the consistency or are not trying to grow as this person is, but they understand what it takes to close. And what they're looking for is a new model. And it just has to make sense, right? There's different variations, but end of the day, what it means is they have closed, right? Doesn't necessarily have to be in that industry, but for the bulk of the time, it would be in that industry. And they have cash, right? Now, you're going to bump into some occasions where this isn't the case. And this is where you bump into a salesperson. Did you see how inclusive I am? Saying salesperson, not salesman, right? I've seen people lose the deals because they focus too much on man, say person. So if they're a salesperson, they will simply, for the fucking sake of it, just to challenge you, ask for a free trial. They're doing it just for the sake of the sale. You will bump into people who have money who do this. The only reason they'll do this is if they see you as a low-down person and they see you as someone who is able to be bullied. Now, moving further, right? I love how I didn't edit the designs. So about us, right? Intellectual buyers are analytical, logical, and detail-oriented individuals who value knowledge and seek to make informed decisions. Now, what does that mean? Value is going to be one of the big things we say here. Value 100%. If there is a letter that comes out of your mouth that is not revolving around value, the service, the goal, you will lose them and they will lose respect for you. When you're dealing with an intellectual buyer, there is no bullshit. You answer to the point. Yes, sir. Okay, sir. How high, sir? They say jump, you say how high. Now, I'm not talking about the frame. I'm talking about how you respond to them. When they ask a question, you do not beat around the bush. You do not fuck around. It is 100% value-based because they are hyper-analytical and they just want to know if it works. You're able to, yes, everything they ask, you've got nice, swift, short answers, is going to make the biggest difference. Because they see that you're here for business, they're here for business. This is a simple transaction. This is not life-changing. Are you going to make me more money? Yes or no? Done. Now, you can look at it as problem solvers, right? So all they're trying to find is, I have problem. Why? You have solution. Why? They're familiar. They're familiar with the space. Let's say, as an example, for let's say the dental niche, right? They have referrals. They work through magazines, print, right? And they have another method. They are familiar with how money comes in. They've got different methods for money to come in. They've done it before. Now, all they're looking for is, do you have a new way that works? And once it's a new way that works, they're looking for the plug plus play, right? This is what they're looking for. If you're able to orchestrate how this goes like a Lego piece down under, and it fits nicely into their business and it gets them what they want, Bob's your uncle, right? Moving it further, if it makes sense, they buy. If it doesn't, they say goodbye. All it is. The second you start to fuck around with them, they will leave because they're not fans of having their time wasted, right? Now, you need to give them as much information because these are the people who are likely to say, research. I need to research. I need to understand. I need information. We've gone on this on personality types. When you speak of value and you give them all the value that they are looking for, because it's not a point of convincing, it's a point of, does it make sense? You don't have to convince them, they're logical people. They don't have emotions attached to it. If it makes sense, and they're happy to move forward. Now we're going to be going over how you need to hold your frame in order for it to make sense and for them to be willing to buy. But it's all rationale. You don't give enough information on the call, you miss shit out, you avoid their questions, they're going to tell you, I need to do some more research or I need to think how this works into my business. But you guys need to orchestrate it in a way where it all plugs in nice and simple. No fuckeries, no over speaking. The less words you use, the better your life will be. Now, do you know? When it comes to making important decisions such as selling the services, it's crucial to do your homework. When it comes to intellectual buyers, right? You need to understand the industry and the specific company that you are dealing with, right? If it's on a company that you're dealing with or model that you're dealing with and it's an individual, you need to understand what type of individual are they? What are they specialized in? What services do they do? This allows you to make specific decisions because the last thing you want to do is bring up a service that you're going to cover that they don't need. The second you don't know what's happening, you fuck up, right? And furthermore, the questions you ask them are key. If you try to pull pain from intellectual buyers, it's not going to work. You're going to look like an idiot, right? Now, no pain pulling. Now, can someone give me a reason why we don't pull pain from intellectual buyers? Aslan?
They don't have pain.
Wonderful. Leo, why don't they have pain?
Because they are doing the decision based on logic, and oftentimes they're doing good money, and so they just want more.
Igor?
And also, if they're a salesperson, they will probably know what you're doing and then be put off by it.
Ernest?
It is mainly because, like, for normal people, 99% of problems are always connected to money. And they just don't have it. Like, they don't have any problems because they have money.
Yes, they have good problems, right? Me and Sincere were trying to fix one of the problems today. Max, did you hear about my good problem?
I did, yes.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. Mr. Good, do you have a question?
basically about intellectual buyers. If they are going from 60 deals per year to 20 deals per year, isn't a problem? Is it the place you can big pain?
I will show you in a bit whether or not they are still classed as an intellectual buyer. Because if someone goes from rich to broke, they're now in a certain mood and emotions are all high. Right? So we'll get into that in a bit.
Okay.
Cool. By doing your research, it's going to ensure that you ask the right questions and increase the likelihood of a successful sale. If you don't understand shit on your niche, if you do not use vocabulary and terminology that both indicate that you are smarter than the average dullard and you understand their niche, it will hinder your ability to close. But by saying 6 words differently, by putting in 6 words, 3 that they're unfamiliar with and 3 that show a inkling, that you have an inkling of an idea of what their niche is, it will make the biggest difference to the close. We're going to do that another day when it's going to be niche research, right? It will make the biggest difference. And asking the right questions. You fuck around and ask dumb questions just because you feel the need to ask a question, because you think it's necessary, it's going to hurt you massively. Now, questions to ask. Good. This is relevant to what you were saying. How many deals have you closed? If it's, let's say, real estate. Let's say it's med spa. How many customers are you serving per month? This will tell you or give you a good indication of what are they dealing with, right? What is your current occupancy rate? Are you at max occupancy? Where are we looking? Are people retained? Next question. How long have you been in the industry? This is indicative to someone's success and familiarity with the ups and downs. The next one is, how much is the deal size? What is the customer lifetime value? Do you get many referrals from past clients? And if so, how many typically? What is your take home after a transaction? What this does is, this tells you, and this is in the beginning of the call, this is when you're trying to figure out whether or not they're an intellectual buyer. All this is doing is telling you how much money do they have in the bank, right? How many deals? Deal size. Ooh. Deal size. And then you compare that to the location or the industry. And then you can get an idea of how much money they're bringing in, and that tells you how much they have in the bank. If it's a little bit complicated, you can literally tell them, what is your take home? And then you times that by deals or customers. And then you know whether or not you're dealing with an intellectual buyer or a brokey. But a brokey, you go a different angle, completely different to what we're doing here. But that's the whole point of these questions. These questions need to be factual. What are you doing? What have you done? What is this? How much money? How much you want to make? What are your targets? What are your methodologies? It's all logical. Yeah. So moving on. Matching the energy. This is a very big thing, right? To this extent, you can mirror. Mirroring is highly recommended unless you've been able to formulate your own style, right? But you have to mirror in multiple aspects. To sell to an intellectual buyer, establishing credibility early is crucial. If they see you as a cuck very early on, the deal will not close. They will have no respect for you, right? This is done by researching ahead of time, being prepared with relevant information, being honest. That's not really necessary, but answering any questions, right? So now I've highlighted all of this here. Now, at a high level, if you guys actually did your work properly, before a call, right, you need to call the prospect. Confirm that they're going to get on the call and get them on the call. And also what you need to be doing is quick Google, right? This is to find out area, services, the area that they're working in, the services that they offer, the deals that they've done. Example on real estate, if they have any active listings, right? Because this is stuff that you can bring up on the call to show them that you understand what they are doing. It takes 2 seconds to do. Well, okay, let's say 2 minutes to do. Now, if you've done your niche research, the second you know the area, you know what's happening in that niche for that area. Granted, most of you are typically targeting the exact same area, so you should know that area inside out every time you're targeting, and you should have all your notes by the side of the table or on the screen where your prospect can't see them. Next thing is being prepared with the relevant information, right? This is a mix of niche info plus your prospects info. You need both of these prepared to move it forward. If there's anything happening in your niche, in a specific market, any trends that have happened, on the Mac you can use stickies. What the fuck is a sticky?
Sticky is like a note from Apple. You can make like transparent notes. This is
So moving forward, yes. What this is going to do is going to build trust with the buyer, right? And it's going to establish a rapport with them that you're cut from the same cloth. You make money, I make money. Let's see if this works out. But now, mirroring is also key. Tonality is key on this, and the words you use are key. You cannot be glitching. You have to be silent. You have to be deadly. You got to move. It is very much, I don't care. I'm listening. I'm understanding. You got a question, I give it back to you. You got a question, I give it back to you. But we're going to get onto this in another phase, and we're going to do a fun exercise where it's a few words from a big sentence. We're going to be creating sentences, and you say them in a few words. The less words you use with an intellectual buyer, the higher the likelihood of them seeing you as a professional, because you're able to articulate your points across very succinctly, and it's going to make the biggest difference to the close. If you end up like a situation like old Leo, where you fucking ramble and say a sentence 3 fucking times just to truly explain it, they're not going to buy from you. But when you can put a big explanation within 3 to 6 words, and it's succinct, increase of buying through the roof. If you're able to use vocabulary to your advantage, where you can be hyper descriptive, or you can describe in a very specific way, it will shorten the words of the sentences, make it seem smarter, increase the likelihood of the close, right? The words you use, the speed of how you speak has to be relaxed, has to be professional. Look at yourself like a robot. Now, obviously you take interest, but everything is not rushed. They ask a question, you answer it with as little words as possible, and then you relax. And the conversation continues. We're not here to make friends. They don't have time to make friends. You don't have time to make friends. We're here to do business. This is a simple transaction, and you are plug and play into their system, and you're trying to explain to them why it works. Pew, 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 pew. Pew, pew, pew. Now, it's peas in a pod, right? This is not the only peas in a pod that are required, but I didn't make a slide for the other one, so I'm just going to speak the other one. So, you need to be doing both of these, right? Highlighting that you understand their niche and your niche, your service. You've full handle on it. Everything is to the point, and you know exactly what they are doing. You need to indicate that you have worked with hundreds of clients in that space before on all different terrains, and you know how to operate it. So they have no doubts in your capacity in what you are doing. This is very simple. Watch a fucking documentary video on your niche. No matter what the niche is, there's documentary videos. You can sit down, watch, learn, take notes, and just absorb information on repeat. You can read books. But the fact is, no one's doing it. I say it, but no one does it, right? This, alongside with holding the right frame, will ensure success. You stay confident, focused, you listen carefully, which is active listening, which we discussed yesterday, we're going to discuss in the future. You ask questions, and you persistent. You're to the point, and you keep it going, right? Control the tone and control the words that come out will make the biggest difference. Do you guys see how this is very different to a dealing with someone where you're trying to pull paint from them, right? But the annoying thing with the biggest thing that I find irritating with this is here, this part. It's you have to figure out very quickly if they have money or if they're broke. Because if you haven't recognized that they make money and you go down the broke route, you fucked up. You fucked up an easy sale. Because if you try to handle either one of these like the other, it's not going to work to your favor. Cool. Wonderful. Wonderful. Now, the devil's details. What you guys need to understand is questioning is key here, right? Your best friend when it comes to dealing with an intellectual buyer is information, right? This is where all the money lies. Each question needs to be value. Each answer needs to be value. But from the questions, right, you need to understand the prospect inside out. What are their desires? Systems, KPIs, schedule, just life. The more you know about them, the better you will do. But you need to make sure that every question you ask is focused on impacting the business. If this is the individual or this is the business, you need to see what hits the business. If something goes far from the business, we don't touch this. But if it hits the business, we ask. Because the more information we have, the more we can work with, the more we can work with, the more we can utilize. This one we don't touch because it went past the box. Right? So, their style of working. Are they the type of person that they want you to call them whenever there's an issue? They don't care what time you call them. If there's a qualified lead, they'll handle it. Or do they need it in set hours? Right? Are they conscientious or are they not conscientious? Are they orderly or not orderly? You need to have an understanding of their schedule. If they're closing deals, recognize that there's a high chance they may not be available for your weekly calls. If they're not available for the weekly calls, do not push it because they don't need you to hold them accountable because they didn't need anyone to hold them accountable to get to 6 figures. You need to know what their KPIs are. What is their closing rate? How do they handle the closing rates? What do they want from you at a minimum? Right? Now, I would argue, it's not fully necessary, but I would argue you need to look at it from a break-even analysis. That doesn't look right. Break-even analysis, right? You need to figure out at what point do they make money. And you need to tell them, look, as long as I get you at this point, right? Let's say 20% to 30% above break even. Obviously, it depends on the margins here, whether or not they'll be happy with that. If I get you here, are you happy with me? You don't tell them up here. You don't tell them I'm going to do 1,000,000%, right? You tell them what is the base that you need from us? Because I need to know where I need to hit for you to be happy with me. The second you start trying to fucking sell them a dream, they're going to tell you to go fuck yourselves. Why? Because they've been working super duper hard and they haven't hit that dream. So for you to come and say, oh yeah, we're going to come and fix all your problems, that's not very realistic. Whenever someone's trying to sell to me, I know when they're new, because what they're going to do is they're going to say, we're going to fix X. And as the call goes on, Y, Z, A, F, G, L. And they start telling me how they've got a process that's going to fix my entire business. But the fuck's never closed the deal before. You focus on X, you see the margins, you say, what do I do to make you happy? That's all I need to know. I'll beat it, but where's my base? Where's my safety? You don't go top, you go logical. Because they're going to see you as a logical individual. Someone, if I know I can deliver my service, I'm not going to tell you I can do 3 times that. I know what's going to keep you fucking happy and you're going to pay me and that's it. And we're going to keep it going because my model and all of your models are not based on making one client super happy. It's having loads of clients in the bank. So that needs to be understood from both sides. Articulation. We have gone through articulation repeatedly. Do I need to go through it again? Does anyone have any questions on articulation? Nope. Fabian.
So, when pulling pain from, let's say an agent has done 5 deals this year, their goal was 10, and you ask them why did they fall short, and they just say family issues or someone died, something like that. Where do you stop where do you draw the line when you're pulling pain? Do you just gloss over that and move forward, or do you ask something more specific within that?
But if you found the pain, why are you drawing a line?
Yeah,
Oh.
so
Business took a dip because of, now what are you doing to make up for it? It's how you say it. Granted, the way I said it was quite aggressive there.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, the whole family can fucking die. Bill collector's gonna. We gotta be fucking logical here. My condolences that someone passed away, but I'm also going to die, and so are you. So what are you doing? What have you got in place? What are your plans to hit KPIs that you had from the beginning of the year? Or are you happy with the fact that you're going to hit lower KPIs because of this incident? Right? Oh, you can't take on so much on your plate? You get them to fully admit that. And then you say, cool, I'm Superman. I can come help you. But they have to recognize the fuck up, and you shouldn't be scared to step on someone. That sounds very bad. I don't think you should ever step on someone. That's a bad thing to do. You shouldn't have any issues highlighting their pain, because their pain is, just because it's sensitive doesn't mean you shouldn't step.
Yep.
Or just talk about it. French.
Others question specifically about when they ask you at the end in terms of objection handling about research. For example, if they ask you about their website, is it more a trust thing than actually a sophisticated buyer that wants to have more information about your company?
No. There's benign information. A sophisticated buyer would recognize that your website doesn't mean shit. But
So it's a trust thing.
Not necessarily. It depends on the niche. Some niches, it's much more common to have websites. Other niches, it's not common. So it may just be a generalized question. One thing that you guys can generally say is, oh, it's down right now. Since we've come out with a new model, we're redoing the whole website. But I can give you the URL and I can let you know when it's back up. And then when they say, cool, I'll only time when it's back up, then you say, you could tell them, do I come across as someone who doesn't know what they're doing? Do you believe I need a website to do my work? Is a website indicative of anything? If I wanted to scam you, does having a website stop me? There's a lot of things that you can do to get over the website question.
Makes sense. But if you get that kind of objection as well as, for example, they'll ask you about about the website, for example, they can ask you, is it then not a sophisticated buyer? That's basically my question. It's just emotional buyer.
No, that doesn't make sense. Yeah.
Okay.
An intellectual buyer. Wait, give me a second. I'm sharing the tab. The bulk of it, to summarize, an intellectual buyer is someone, it's just loading, is someone who has cash. If they ask you about your website, Leo, does it mean that they don't have cash?
Not both.
Not at all. There's no correlation.
Yeah.
Does that answer your question?
It does.
Stupid question. Please shake your head. Thank you. Jack.
Yeah, you were just saying if anyone hasn't heard you speak about articulation, so just give a quick little explanation.
Wait, what?
You just saying before everyone took the tangent off of the subject. If anyone hasn't heard you talk about articulation, and I thought you were just going to brush over it quickly, but I haven't heard you speak about it, so I'd be pretty interested to see what you got to say.
I've done it 5 fucking times on the call, but perfectly fine. We can go over articulation, no issues. Now, articulation is the letters that you use. What I mean by that is the emphasis on what you say and how you say it. It is tonality. It's not your spelling. The spelling doesn't matter. It is your vocabulary. It is your silence. It's all of this. How you articulate, how you express how you feel, what you think, what your service is. A great way to say it is compare. Let me just try and think. You're UK based, no?
Australia based, I'm from the UK.
Yeah, from the UK. It's comparing, you know, those kids who live in like farms with ponies and big houses?
Yeah.
To people in Brixton.
Sure.
There is a difference in how they articulate themselves.
Yeah. I mean, I'm from near London way, so I feel like I've got a pretty good understanding. I just wanted to hear what you had to say about it, basically.
You can control your articulation to sound however you want to sound, right? How I speak now with you guys is very different to how I speak with ladies, and it's very different to how I speak if I believe myself to be in danger. Granted, I'm never in danger, other people are in danger. You can control what people think of you. I said this to Sincere today. None of you are who you are. Does that make sense to anyone here? Cool, Mr. Tree. Mr. Tree, you are not who you are. You are simply who you simply portray what you want others to see. And as such, the version that you show is not who you are. Do you agree with that statement?
Maybe most of the time, but sometimes not, maybe. Is that possible?
Look, when you're alone with your sister, I understand that you're truly yourself, right? But for the premise of the social environment, yeah, in terms of social dynamics, there's a Japanese saying that people wear 3 masks, right? The first one is who they show to the public. The next one is the mask that they show to those who are close. And then there's the mask that only they see, right? So all of you have created your own versions of yourself in order to go through life in whatever direction you want, whether you want to be liked, disliked, loved, hated. But you are not who you are, or that is not who you are. And to the same extent, you decide how you articulate, how you speak, how you come across. Now, obviously, it's easier for some than it is to others. But all you have to do is start watching, what's that TV show where it's about like royalty? Forgot the name. It's on Netflix. Anyone know about like royalty and bouginess? No. No, I'm happy no one's watching Netflix.
The Crown or something?
Yes, like The Crown. The Crown will be. Yes. Watch how they speak and mimic how they speak. Parrot it. Reading high literature is great. And there is very high literature, right? I like to believe that I'm a little bit smarter than the average human being, right? Then I picked up this book. Has anyone here read this book? Maps of Meaning. Yep. The preface, this is written by Jordan Peterson, right? The preface is basically an introduction to this book. And I've heard that this is a complex book, right? And I understood the preface borderline perfectly. And I thought, I'm smarter than everyone else. Like, clearly those idiots couldn't get this book. Then I read chapter 1, and I've come to the conclusion that I am an ape, right? I am an ape. The way that this is written and articulated, I have to use so much of my brain power just to understand a paragraph. Now, that is not always the case, but there are so many paragraphs I actually don't understand, right? And I'm going to have to read each chapter a few times. This is written into such a high level, right? And if I wanted to become like this, all I have to do is repeatedly read this book. I would have to read the chapter every day, until my brain started to think in the way that this book is written. because there's some my brain becomes adjusted to it on repeat. It adjusts to how the book is written, and that gets put out into the open world. Does that make sense? Let me just read a paragraph for you guys, just to see, so you can see the depth of this bullshittery. In the meantime, Fabian, do you want to speak?
Yeah, so obviously you said on cold calls, if someone says or asks you about upfront, you say don't even bother trying to change their mind because they're probably broke. Well, I had an instance, I was speaking to an agent who definitely wasn't broke. He just had a valid reason, which was that he's wasted 12K in the past on upfront. And he could afford it, but which he didn't say. But he just, won't bother anymore because of his past experience. But obviously it's possible once you get them on a call to potentially convince them and close them. So how do you lie and say, yeah, there's no upfront to get them on the call, or what do you do in that instance?
No, but now let's do the maths. Cool, there's outliers. I don't doubt that there's outliers. There's definitely people that you're putting the phone down on, and maybe they could have bought. But how many people are you going to get it on the fucking call that aren't going to buy because they're broke to shit? Like the bulk of you are too scared to ask people, do you have money in your bank account? I have no fears with that question. Right? No hesitation. They don't. They would like to get started. They don't have enough money to do it. So then how much time are you losing for a potential close? We've gone through the whole process. Everything's good. They want to get started, but they can't. Now, you can go extreme where you can get people to sell stuff, take out loans. And I'm on a new one where I'm actively trying to get Catholics to sell their blood. Right? I spoke to a guy today. I was very close, but he said, don't worry, I've got another job. I said, are you sure? Blood is much easier to sell. Right? So there are multiple ways to get around people who are broke. It's just a whole different level where it's a removal of value. Cool, your car is valuable, but how valuable is what I'm offering and the change that I'm offering? But that's a whole different level of sales, and I don't recommend it.
Okay, so as a general rule of thumb, just hang up on the people who ask about upfront, even though it's the majority of them.
Yes.
Okay.
Because you'll save time. And how many of those people are you going to book? And in all that time, how many people could you have booked?
Yeah.
All good.
Yeah.
Right? There's one thing with closing rates. I know we're going a little bit to the side, but there's two ways to measure closing rates. I think I've told you guys this before, right? You have general closing rate, and then you have actual closing rate. Yeah. There are prospects that both Fabian couldn't close, I couldn't close, Grant Cardone couldn't close. Because, as examples, their credit equals shit. They are in debt. And no one loves them. So they can't take out any personal loans. No one's fucking closing these people. But people put them into their close rate, but they are not indicative of a close rate because they cannot be closed. Now, don't get excited because the bulk of the people, like there's a good chunk of people that you guys speak to that can afford it. And you guys just aren't closing it, right? So you can get, let's say this over here, your general closing rate, that could be at, let's say 15%, right? But when you take into consideration those that couldn't afford it, you've actually got a 25% closing rate based on those who actually had funds and could purchase. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah. But then summarizing, it's your call. The maths isn't that different, right? I would just rather not waste my time with an idiot. Yeah. Now let me see if I can quickly find the PowerPoint. Okay. The world can be validly construed as form of action or as place of things. The former manner of interpretation, more primordial and less clearly understood, finds the expression in the arts and humanities, in ritual, drama, literature, and mythology. The world as forum for action is a place of value, a place where all things have meaning. The meaning, which is shaped as a consequence of social interaction, is implication for action, or at a higher level of analysis, implication for the configuration of the interpretive schema that produces or guides in action. That is the first paragraph. It doesn't stop from there, and it gets more complicated, right? By putting yourself or surrounding yourself with more complex, I don't recommend going this far. Like, you don't need to learn to speak like this, because you just won't make sense to anyone. Like, people will just generally get confused when you speak. You are speaking correct, but no one's going to comprehend it. But then surrounding yourself with the right people will make the biggest difference to your close rate, because you will just normalize how you speak. But one big thing is you want to be articulating the same way you are on sales calls as you are in real life. So as you improve your articulation on sales calls, you improve it in real life. Jack, does that cover it?
Perfect.
Perfect. We'll do a whole fucking 3-hour session on articulation. It's going to bore the shit out of all of you. Paulina?
At what part in the, like, during the call, do you ask the prospect what they are expecting of you? Like, what's my minimum?
I would do it. I would do it after the qualification. So for the bulk of you guys, like basically all of you, have a qualification process, right? So this is typically after the ads, right? It's either qualification or booking in appointments or whatever it is. Once I've experienced the qualification, I would say, look, realistically, you have a target of X, right? If I'm able to be 30% of your target, are you going to be happy with me? Like, a lot of you guys are saying that you will do all of X. Why the fuck are you trying to do all of X? They don't need you to do all of X. They also need to work. Stop trying to do their whole business for them, right? Keep it realistic. Say, look, at a low end, if we're able to help you with 30% of your targets, are you going to be happy with us? They'll say, yeah, I'll be happy with you. Say, now look, obviously I want to help you with all of your targets, but I also want to be realistic at worst case scenarios. So if you're happy with 30%, I'm very happy moving forward. And then you carry it on, but it shows that you are being realistic and logical with your approach to working with them, rather than saying it's all rainbows and fairies and all this kind of shit, which they will not believe for a second because they know it's not. Mr. Tree?
Besides that book from Peterson, would you recommend the other books from him? They're a little bit easier, I think.
There is no comparison. Like, those books are still like more difficult than the average book. There's no comparison between the two. I recommend every nonfiction book, including Jordan Peterson's books.
Okay, like for example, 12 Rules of Life.
Yes, that's a good book.
Would you recommend reading it multiple times?
Depends. For some people, yes. Some people, no. Some people didn't have a proper father figure, so yes. If they did, no. Read
Okay.
once.
I see. Okay.
Cool. Ozan?
So by articulating correctly, you try to control how other people think about you, right? Or
No, you are actively doing so. Ozan. Let's say there's two Ozans. One speaks perfectly with great words, like Donald Trump words, great words. The best words, the smartest words, smart words, right? And the other one stutters. Stutters plus speaks in Morse code, right? So we have this version of Aslan, and we have this version of Aslan. Do you think people will see them differently?
sure.
Why? Why do they see them differently?
Because there's two different processes.
No, because there is a reason that people stutter. There is a reason why people speak in Morse code. Do you know what I mean when I say Morse code?
You
Do
can
you understand?
elaborate? You can elaborate?
It's when you twitch.
Okay.
Like when you get nervous, you twitch, and then you speak in Morse code with me. Right? It is indicative of nervous, unfamiliar, fear of judgment. And basically, it shows that you're a virgin. Like a great way to put it is showing you're a virgin. You don't. This is new territory for you. In some cases, it's great to have this, right? Not in the sales case. But now to the complete opposite, when you speak perfectly, you use big boy words, and you don't overextend what needs to be said. You're to the point. What does that say about you? And what does that say about your background? What is the psychoanalysis on this version of Arslan compared to this version?
Yes.
What is their history? How many clients have they worked with? You can take that from how you speak.
Understood.
Wonderful. Wunderberg. Yeah. So you're lucky. I was about to say, doesn't want to have any more questions, Mr. Tree. You're a lucky guy. Mr. Tree, ask a question.
Yes. So is it correct if you don't articulate yourself clearly, and you say, like, for example, oh yeah, I've got like 60 clients, that it just will be instant red flags for them?
When someone says, how many clients do you have?
Yeah, like for example, you say you've got like 200 clients, but you come across like an idiot.
No, but even this articulation is key. Oh yeah, no, we have so many clients across different states. Like it depends on what state. Yeah, we have in Canada and USA. I don't know, maybe 243.2. Right, where you're oversaying everything, or you can say, honestly, I've lost count. I think somewhere between 190 and 210. And then you shut the fuck up. But so many people are trying to explain, oh, we have it in USA, Canada, France, this country, that country. And then we work in all the countries. We're really good at what we do.
Yes, I get it. But then in the rest of the call, when you come across like an idiot, then they won't believe it, right?
What the fuck do you think?
They won't.
Put it like this. If you have 200, let's say you have 200 clients. Let's say you have 30% close rate, or 30% close rate.
Mm-hmm.
That means you've spoken to well over, let's say, 666 people, give or take, right? This is the devil's number. It's not actually the devil's number. People just believe it to be, right? 666 people. Why the fuck are you stuttering?
Yes, that's what I mean.
Like, how do you see that person as a big person? You've spoken to fucking 666 of them, of which you've closed 200.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if we put it in your case with an expected 0.5% close rate, yeah, you're speaking to like thousands of fucking people, right? How can you be to hit 200? Well done, but how can you be fucking nervous, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm teasing.
I see.
I'm teasing, right? But does that answer your question?
Yes, it does.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Any other questions before we move on? Wonderful, wonderful. At one point, I didn't finish the presentation, so I'm just gonna. Yes. At this point, I didn't do it. So we're gonna do a nice group exercise because you guys like role plays. Same as yesterday with the hands. We're gonna pick one person to start. It's borderline paraphrasing, but I want you guys to select parts of the presentation. So the first person will say a lot of it. The next person will say a little. I don't want to take up too much time doing this, so 10 people, put your hands up. Thank you, Mr. Tree. I appreciate the group competition. I was saying, I'm so happy when the group, you guys contribute each other. You want to succeed. Max, put your hand up. Igor, put your hand up. Andreas, put your hand up. Isaac, put your hand up. Thomas, Sebastian, put your hand up. Jack, put your hand up. Oh, guys, thanks so much for contributing. I'm so proud of all of you guys. It takes courage. Wonderful. So we'll start with Arzan. Arzan, say it as you normally say it with more words than are necessary. The next person shortens it. If I'm happy, they can say the next one. If not, they're out of the game.
Topic?
Any part of the sales call. Take your time.
So this is how we operate. First of all, we're gonna create ad campaign with 72 plus ads. Then we'll get the lowest CPL on the market. That means we'll test it until we get it. So people in the industry do 4+ ads each week. We do it twice a week, testing. We test it each month.
Thank you. Honestly, the best voice I've ever heard. I'm envious of the women that you take out on dates. Mr. Tree.
Okay, so we create an endless amount of ads. We'll test them a ton, and then we get you a lot of leads.
You did the job, just you didn't do it very well. So the reason he didn't
improve?
You didn't use any complex words.
Oh, okay.
We do it very well. We get leads. Now,
Okay.
Mr. Tree, next sentence.
A complex or simple?
The long. Just make a long sentence.
Okay, so what to do is our team calls up every lead, determines exactly what kind of things we're looking for, and then if they're qualified, meaning ready to talk to, and having the funds to do so, we send them over.
Max, shorten that, please.
So what we do is we call up every single lead, and based on your given qualifications, we see if they fit or they don't fit, and if they do, then we provide you with a lead.
Pretty much
That
was the same word count, but hey, paraphrasing. So Max, give us another sentence. Wait, guys, when you take 10 seconds, recognize it's 10 seconds times 26, right?
So our agency operates in a very simple way. We run Facebook ads. Those Facebook ads, we test them. I don't know how many ads we have, but we test them. We like to take our time with it. It takes a few days until we get the right CPM. Once we got that, we qualify all the leads. And yeah, we just go from there. We just see if the leads fit or they don't fit. And if they do, we provide you with the leads. Yeah, the qualifications, you give us the qualifications that you need. And once you're happy, we're happy.
Leo.
So what we do is pretty simple. We do lead generation, very self-explanatory, very simple. Let me start over again. So what we do is very simple. We do lead generation, and once they're qualified, what our team is going to do, they're going to call them, qualify them, and once they are, we're going to send them over to you.
Once they're qualified, nice and simple, the team are going to qualify them.
Yeah.
Well, Leo, it's your turn to give an example. You should be wonderful at doing this.
Yeah, definitely. So speaking about pricing, so first we're going to start with 5 appointments up front and 1,000 in ad spend. From there on, we're going to move on and do the backdate appointment model. So once we bring your appointment, you pay them, but only after they have closed. And it's capped at 30% of the deal.
Isaac.
So nice and simple. To get started, it's 1,000. Yeah, to get started, it's 5 appointments up front, $1,000 in ad spend per month. After that, it's going to be performance based. So you only pay as they come, and our commission is capped at 30% from what you take home.
Same word count. Isaac, your turn.
Okay. So DT3, that's the name of the company. We work in 2 different countries, so Canada and also in Germany, 2 different markets, but we are good at both. So we know both markets very well. Germany is a little bit different because, of course, different houses. Canada is also different, but we know both very well.
It's kind of different because there's also different houses.
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. Nick.
Nice and simple. When it comes down to our company DT3, we are working in 2 countries, and which we are doing research on both of them and hyper testing everything we do.
Meh. You didn't say how good you are. Okay, we're gonna change it up. I will try my best. May fuck up, but I will try my best to shorten your sentences. Nick, give me a sentence. Any part of the sales process doesn't have to be the beginning. Could be any point.
When it comes down to the pricing, we have a very simple pricing model. It's a 2,000 retainer, which covers, it's 1,000 in ad spend and 2,000 retainer, which covers all our team, which hyper test ads for you, and our copywriters with hyper test copies for you, and everything else in between.
We charge a $2,000 retainer, $1,000 ad spend, and that's what it takes for us to get you the results that you need. Adrian?
In terms of the pricing, you're not very confident on it. So what part would you say? Would you say it's the ad spend or the prepaid appointments? Or is it more in the processes that you aren't confident about? Where are you still confused on?
I'm curious to where your doubts lie. Is it the ad spend, service delivery, or pricing? Do you mind if we walk through them one by one so I can clearly understand your situation? Endurance.
So we handle every follow-up for you. We talk to every unqualified lead, make sure that when they're ready, they choose you to be the realtor. And if they don't, we stop messaging them until they're ready to. And then when they are, we book you in.
How the fuck are you going to make sure that they choose them to be the realtor?
I'm just talking.
Okay, you're just giving a random sentence, yes?
Yeah, I live.
Give it again.
All right, so we handle every follow-up with every lead that we send over to you until we know they're qualified. And then once they're qualified, we book them in your calendar.
We'll reach everyone, remove the shit from the gold, and the gold will go onto your calendar, and the shit will go in the sink. You can change gold and shit for whatever you want. Those who are qualified, we'll send your way. Those who aren't, we won't. But I promise you, we're going to speak to every single prospect. Igor.
Can you please tell me what you do every single day in order to get in contact with new people who are potentially going to buy or sell a home, or sometimes think about whether they even want to buy or not? And how does that make you feel, waking up every single day and doing those tasks?
When you wake up, what's your methodology for putting your face in front of those who don't know who you are? And how do you feel about the methodology that you incite or you utilize?
Right.
Nicholas.
Yeah. So here are your options. You could continue to get leads through Angie's List or Home Advisor, where you get your leads outbound and actually have to compete with others for them to close them. Or you could do Facebook ads, where it's inbound and you're easily able to track your ROI and get great results.
You can keep touching that which others have touched, the leads that you're getting from these other providers. or you can only work with your own stuff, inbound, qualified by my team, and then sent to you. Nicholas, you need to work heavily on your articulation.
All right, thanks.
Also, are you in a photography room?
No, I'm actually just at my father's place. So this is my room at my father's place.
Okay. Not going to question that. Jakob.
Hi. Wait. I'm gonna say the longer version. Are you gonna shorten it?
If you want, I can give you a long sentence and you can shorten it. Which way do you want to go?
I wanna try like make it shorter on.
Okie dokie. Now look, the way these calls typically go is I want to get an understanding of who you are, what your business model is, and where you're going to make sure that I'm able to work with you and I'm able to close deals for you, because I don't work for everyone. I need to make sure that it makes sense that I work with you. And on that basis, and as a justification for it, I'll end the call early to not waste your time or my time if I don't think I can work for you or get you results, because at the end of the day, we're both here for results. And if I see that it does work, I'll show you my presentation and then we can take it from there. Does that sound fair?
Okay. I'm going to be honest with you. I can confidently say that I can confidently say that
Is not a word.
Sorry?
Is not a word. You used it twice.
Okay, let me try again. Okay, I'm going to be honest with you. When it's come to, sorry?
Is not a word. You keep saying it's not a word.
Okay. I can confidently say that I'm going to be picky when it comes to the business. So,
is not a word.
okay, wait, yeah, I said it again. Yeah. I'd be picky with who I would work with. If we're on working together, if we were to work together, I would be respect your work, and then I'll be put all the results to come to the end.
My love, you used twice there.
I'll fix them.
Go again. I want to see it fixed.
Right now.
Yes.
Okay. Can I try again?
Come on.
I'm going to be picky with who I would be working with, because I would like to respect the person I would be working, and I'd be putting 100% of work to make it work. That does sound fair?
You didn't really say what I wanted, what I was saying, and you can't say I'm going to do 100% of work to make it work, because you're using the same word twice. You need to change up the words that you utilize.
Okay.
But you didn't emphasize that I don't want to waste your time, and I will only put my time when I know it works. It sounded very pushy. It needs to be perfect from me, and you have to illustrate it needs to be perfect from both sides, and that's why you'll shorten it quickly.
Okay, so what you're saying is, what you're trying to emphasize is, you don't want to waste your time, and then you don't want to waste other time.
There we go.
That's the conclusion.
Yes, I know. Okay. But guys, the reason we say this is, many of you know, it's to give us permission to ask all the questions we want. So I need to understand who you are. I'm going to ask lots of questions because I don't want to waste your time. If I know I can't work with you, I'll end the call early. If I know I can work, I'll show my presentation. Does that sound fair?
Okay. How do you shorten that? Like, if you word it.
Okay. I know when it works and I know when it doesn't. I'm going to ask you a few questions, and if I can tell it's not going to work, I'm going to end the call early because I don't want to waste your time. But if it does work, I'll show my presentation. Does that sound fair?
Okay. Thank you.
It's to the point, to the point, to the point, to the point. Okay? Each one is a value on top of itself. They have no interconnecting words. Go, man. Go, man.
So what sort of stuff are you doing to keep track of customer feedback that you get and like how they're reacting to the services that your business provides? What sort of stuff they're saying about you in the local area?
How do you know that people are happy with your services after you've worked with them? To the point, no time wasting. That's the whole point of articulation. It's getting your point across very quickly. Obviously, the better or greater your vocabulary, the more words you can select to use to come across as an intellectual individual. And now, at this point, I'm going to stop sharing. I'm just going to share the Miro board, so give me 1 second as I do this. Stop presenting. Present. Wonderful. Nick?
When it comes down to articulation and you don't know and you have an expensive vocabulary, do you use your words that you know?
Yes.
Articulated better?
Yes.
Even if your vocabulary is poor?
What other options do you have?
Yeah, but how exactly can you do that?
The biggest thing is connecting words.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, you need more words to say more things. And if you have a very good vocabulary, you need less words to say the same thing. So, for example, in the exercise we just did, could you just shorten the sentences with a poor vocabulary?
Yes.
Ah, okay. No, I think that will be a little bit useful in this case.
Useful or useless?
Useful, because at the moment, I don't think a lot of people in the group have a very expensive vocabulary. So it will be better for us to understand how to shorten the sentences in a poor vocabulary.
You have to recognize that it's relative. Now, right now, you're portraying me as an individual with an expensive, as you like to say, vocabulary, correct?
Yes.
I'm an ape. It's relative.
I see.
Depending on the bulk of the world don't know how to speak properly, right? They generally don't know their own language. They're limited. 80% of words used by an individual are summed up in 500 words. So people utilize the same 500 words 80% of the time when they speak. That's the bulk of the world. Maybe the bulk of the English-speaking world. It's not hard to beat. And you don't need a lot of words in your arsenal. And it's super easy to learn. You can do it in a week. You could have 20 words and you just aim to repeatedly use them. And they will just come into your brain.
Okay, I got it.
Ethan, great for you to make your presence.
Just got off the water.
Oh, how was the trigonometry? Was it complicated?
It was sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, very fun.
Wonderful. One key thing when it comes to, well, I keep saying one key thing. There's so many fucking key things. Key thing, point number 79.45. No script. Granted, we do not utilize a script, but you need to make sure that it is 100% conversational. Now we've gone over convo versus checklist, but we'll be touching on it like a million times in the future. No script is key. If they see or feel as though you are following a script, they will tell you to go fuck yourselves. When someone picks up the fact that you are utilizing a script, they will see you as a dullard. They will see you as an individual who doesn't know what they're doing and is just following a script. Boom, boom, boom. When I see someone is following a script, I get really irritated. Hyper irritated because I recognize, fuck, I'm about to go through a 45-minute fucking bullshit call and this person doesn't understand anything about what I'm doing and they're just trying to close me. I have gone on a call with, it was a lady, I don't remember her name, don't remember the company, and she verbatim went through a script and I put up 3 random pain points that I have, and I stressed how bad they were for me in my business because I knew she was following a script that much. At the end of the call, I said to her, just curious, what were the pain points I mentioned earlier? Why do I need this product? She said, because you're trying to grow. No, but I mentioned 3 specific things to why I need it. What were they? Obviously, only a cunt would do that, but I'm a cunt. Right? She then forgot about it. And then we had a whole wonderful conversation on how she was just following a script and it's not professional and she doesn't know what she's doing and she's not educated because she's following the script. And now the script may work with the average dollar, it doesn't work with someone with a brain. And then we went back and forth, back and forth. I asked her to send me the recording of the call and I never received it. Yeah. You need to make sure that there's no script at all. You need to understand where you need to take them, but it's much easier because when you're dealing with an intellectual, you do not need to be focused remotely on any pain points. You can bring them up, but don't try to go for pain. You can highlight them, but don't push deeper into it. Recognize it. Nicholas?
So let's say you're more new to sales. How do you get to the point where you're able to have the whole framework of the sales call with just a regular conversation?
It's using your brain.
So just putting in the effort to actually remember it and maybe going over and practice it a couple of times.
It's understanding the fundamentals of what you were doing. Right? Beginning, positive rapport. You just have to understand that all you're doing is targets. Where are they now? Where do they want to be later? And you need all the metrics for where they are now and where they want to be later. Then you have negative rapport. You need to understand that they need to feel like shit for not hitting their targets, for the fact that they need you. Now, this is not with an intellectual, I'm just explaining the whole process. It's all about pushing pain and getting them to feel it. I was on a call yesterday. I made a grown man cry. I was very proud of myself. He sat in his car and he cried. It's wonderful. Granted, it was very useful for him to cry, but you need to be able to do that. You need to be able to incite people's pain in a good way, not a bad way. There are ways to do it nicely and ways to do it badly. It has to be done properly. Then you present your offer. How will you help them? Again, your offer is not Facebook ads. It is deals. How will you get them deals? Remove all bullshit fluff. Deals. Sincere recently showed me his new presentation. I loved it. It's 4 pages. No bullshit. Fact, 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 nothing else. There is no waffle in his presentation. Then you negotiate, and you close. Understand that the negotiation is a back and forth in the pricing. Understanding that the closing is getting them to pay. Once you get this framework, and the biggest thing is understanding all the variables, possible variables to where it can go, and practice makes perfect when it comes to this, you don't need a script because you get what you're doing. And then you're not asking for the sake of asking, you're asking for the sake of understanding. Anytime there's a question, you recognize, where does it go here? What part is it relevant to? They may mention something in rapport, for negative rapport, perfect. That information, that's in my negotiation. I need that. Because I understand that at one point I will be negotiating and I need that part of information. A lot of positive rapport will come into the negotiation. Negative rapport, things that they mention, will come into the presentation here, where you can emphasize how their current issues are fixed with what you are doing. It's all about logics, and it's all about the connecting circles, but you have to understand why you're saying what you're saying, and you have to understand what your prospects are saying, and you take them through this cycle. Nicholas?
And just to confirm, taking notes is an absolute no-go, right?
Are your calls recorded?
Yeah.
So why the fuck do you need notes?
It's just when you're on the call, some of the things could be quite hard to remember if you have to.
Nicholas, Have you ever gone on a date?
No, actually, I haven't. Yeah, I haven't.
Don't worry, most people here haven't. Yeah, don't feel bad. You're in a community of people who haven't gone on dates.
I have a girlfriend, so it's not a problem.
Okay, wonderful. Even worse, he has a girlfriend. So, do you take notes when you have long discussions with your girlfriend?
No, I don't.
Why?
Because yeah, I don't need it, but I just remember the usual useful stuff.
What's the difference? The difference is in how you see the call. Your focus is most likely 100% on the close. On the close. That's all you give a shit about. Which means you don't care about any of this, but it's this that gets the close. You are trying to get them through a checklist, not having a conversation. The reason you don't need it with your girlfriend is you know you're going to get the close. Like she may hold off for a few weeks, but you know you're going to get the close. You're not too worried about it. No need to impress. You have to recognize that it's this part here, the conversation that you have with the prospect, which is a genuine conversation. And you just have to use your brain in the conversation. Like actively listen to what they're saying and recognize what it means. Again, I'll emphasize listening to what they're saying and recognizing what that means. So if it's a negative report, granted, I've got too many fucking squiggles on this page to add any squiggles and it makes sense. Right? Actually, we can change the color. We'll change the color. We'll make it pink on behalf of your girlfriend. Right? They have said something in negative rapport, and I understand that I can use it in the negotiation. I can leverage that in the presentation. I can leverage their positive rapport in the presentation. Yeah, it's listening and understanding, and then implementing when necessary. Notes are a no-go. Wonderful. Now, give me 2 seconds. Yeah, I don't want to do any role play because you guys suck at role play. Unless there's a total vote on role play. Yeah, we will not do role play. Who wants to do some role play? Nobody. Igor, anyone else want to do role play?
About what?
What the fuck does it matter about what you learn? Yeah, what are we going over? Ah, wonderful. You know what? It's actually going to be useful. So I'm happy the votes came in. The votes, since this is a dictatorship, I've come to see that the entire group voted. Wonderful. So we're all going to do role play. Great. Super proud of you guys. Great vote. Nice and simple. This will not be very difficult. You guys are to say 2 sentences and hold your frame, utilize vocabulary in a manner where you come across as someone competent enough to handle an intellectual buyer. In order to save time, we're all going to take time and write something down. So you guys have 30 seconds to prepare. So please, all prepare and do.
Any sentence, right?
Yes. About sales, but yes. Mr. Zabrowski, to let you know you're going first.
About what? Sorry.
Sales. Cool. If you guys don't each use a big word in your sentence, right? I want a big word I'm unfamiliar with. Mr. Tree, I don't recommend you think about big words, you Google them. Yeah? So, Mr. Zabrowski, whenever you're ready, the whole group starts.
What, do I ask you a question?
No, I want you to speak for 20 seconds, and I want you to speak in a manner that is befitting of someone who can close an intellectual buy.
Yeah, I'm a bit lost. I'm not sure.
What do you mean?
Yeah, I've got no experience with intellectual bias.
But based on everything that's been presented and explained, I would like your prognosis on what you believe you should do.
Oh yeah, so you make it obvious to them that it's a value offer, so it's or ROI based.
Wonderful. Please, for 20 seconds, do it.
What explain what intellectual buyers want?
No, I'm an intellectual buyer. Speak to me.
Yeah. Okay, so what is your goal?
Make more money.
Yep. What is your? Yeah, I'm lost.
Dino.
Yes.
Now, granted, this is not. I prefer a monologue. I want to hear a monologue. Let's hear your monologue. 20 seconds.
Okay. So what I'm trying to do is understand where your business is and where you're trying to get to. So my first question to you would be, what are your current marketing and advertising efforts for your dental practice?
Okay. Ethan. Dino, that was good. Ethan. Wait, Ethan's not here. Banks. You're about to kick out Banks. Oh no, Ethan. Ethan.
Okay. So I'm a little bit confused, and the reason for that is you say you want to get to, doubling of the business next year. However, the things you've implemented thus far have only gotten you to 20 appointments each month. This doesn't make sense as to how you would actually get to that 40 deals next year, and I don't think that would be bequeathed upon you.
Framing was good. The sentences didn't really make sense, but fuck it.
Yeah. Sorry.
Banks. You got 3 seconds. 3.
Me?
No, the other company named Banks.
Could you, what's it called? Explain it to me. I just got asked. Yeah. Explain it to me in 5 second time.
I don't know what you said.
Could you?
I muted you. Ernest. It should be easy to you.
Actually, I struggle with over explaining. I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to do 20 seconds. However, so Ismael, based on what you actually told me so far, I have only one thing that I can say to you, mainly elevate your discerning taste with our avant-garde product, meticulously engineered to epitomize sophisticated and imbued taste and needs like yours, with unparalleled appeals and education that we are gonna implement in our work to get you the results that you actually want.
That was fucking painful. Did you use ChatGPT for that?
For 3 words, yes.
Those are the words you couldn't use?
Yes.
Oh, wonderful. Dimitri.
Yes, so mirroring in a conversation is like a verbal dance where people reflect each other's words and tones, creating and sharing understanding and connection. It's like a mirror reflecting back the subtle tones and nuances, making the conversation feel more harmonious.
Does anyone feel like they're back in school and every kid has to give a speech in the front of the fucking class? Yeah, and he's there like, mirroring is. Yeah, that was terrible. Zach.
Can you remind me what is it? Because I had a phone call right when you were describing what it was. Can you remind me?
I need 20 seconds as though you're speaking to an intellectual buyer. This is something you should knock out the park. Correct frame.
Is it the beginning, end? Like what is the context? Anything?
Wherever the fuck you want to be.
Okay, Ismael. So you said that you want to get an additional 3 to 5 leads, right? You want to hit your goal. Now, what exactly do you need to hit that? Okay. I don't know if I'm asking questions or what I'm doing, but I would probably go if I don't really know where I'm at, to be honest. I don't know if it's a start or what.
Marquetta.
Sorry, my brain is shattered right now.
I'm glad I'm able to keep you guys on the call, really interacting. It's great. Lorenzo, jefe.
Can I do it in Spanish?
Of course
In
you can.
Spanish?
Of course you can.
Okay. Whatever I want, right?
Yes.
Ok. Para ser alguien exitoso en la vida, ocupas primero prepararte como persona y que tu persona sea como la persona exitosa que deseas ser.
Lorenzo, imagine you are El Jefe. How does El Jefe speak? There we go.
Ok, para ser una persona exitosa en la vida, ocupas prepararte primero como persona y imaginar cómo es esa persona exitosa. Ya cuando te la imagines, tienes que hacer los pasos para llegar a ser esa persona exitosa.
It's wonderful what people do, Well done, Mr. Jefe. That's why you're called El Jefe. Do you guys see the difference between the two? It's that simple. Granted, Lorenzo, I think you could have done better. Oslan.
Yeah. So Ishmael, permit me to express myself in order to show you exactly and precisely how we operate in the presentation. First of all, I have to understand the comprehensive, I have to know the comprehensive situation of your current deals and your current situation.
It sounded as though it was an AI bot that someone was fucking around with by adding lots of commas in random places. Lots of unnatural pauses. That made no sense. Paulina, my love, if you'd like to go.
Okay. Our commitment lies in wait, can I start over? Okay.
Yes.
Our commitment lies in delivering tangible and sustainable results to our clients, driven by strategic fusion of expertise, innovation, and unwavering dedication to surpassing expectations.
You sound like an individual who's trying to get funding from investors, describing how great your project is and hoping that they'll give you money. And what you're trying to do is orchestrate your passion. Group.
To get from 20 to 200 deals next year, obviously what you need to do is to fuck the goat. However, we can fuck that goat together, and in order to help you in that, it's just $10,000 up front for the first 5 appointments prepaid, then it's $2,000 per appointment.
If only I said for the first 5 pumps that I complete. Yes. Guys, please stop butchering my fuck the goat analogy. Please. I beg of you. Stop butchering it. Johan.
In the pursuit of optimal efficiency, explain me the methodologies you're currently using for your client acquisition.
I like it. Speak more like you don't give a shit.
Okay.
Go.
In the pursuit of optimal efficiency, explain me the methodologies you are currently using for your client acquisition.
But are you asking a question?
I didn't end in the question.
Did you even know what you were saying?
Yeah, I know what I'm saying.
So what are you trying to say?
Well, I'm trying to figure out how they're currently getting their leads.
Do you want to say it properly?
In the pursuit of optimal efficiency, explain me the method.
You don't say explain me. That's not English. You don't say explain me.
Which word should I use instead?
May you orchestrate, or may you explain to me?
May you explain.
Yeah. Or illustrate.
Okay, so in the pursuit of optimal efficiency, may you explain me the methodologies you're using for your client?
What may you explain me? Yes. Okay. Morty, with the soul.
So I'll just ask you a few questions to see if I can even add value to your business. And if I can, I'll show you our inevitable process. If I can't, I'll let you know in 5 minutes. I don't want to waste any of our time here.
You don't sound like an intellectual, you sound like a cunt.
Why I can't?
It's too laissez-faire. Can you sit up straight and try again?
So I'm going to ask you a couple of questions to see if I can even add value to your business. If I can, I'll show you our inevitable process. If I find out that I can't, I'll straight up tell you because I don't want to waste any of our time here.
Much better. Oh, I was going to say, Mr. Tree, you're the smartest you've ever looked, and then you sat back down and I realized you weren't there. Mr. Tree.
The necessities for the suitableness of the prospects is based on an amplitude of different requirements.
Leo, please impress me.
So, depending on the personality type, when, for example, encountering people with a prompt behavior, you have to change the way you behave as efficacious as possible to prevent an inevitable pernicious call.
Are we in a fucking reading class? Did I ask you to fucking look down and read? Isaac.
I didn't use ChatGPT.
Isaac.
Now, step 3 of our process. This is quintessential: qualifying and live transfer. Only when we will call every single lead and pre-qualify them for you. And only if they are qualified, we will transfer them live over to you so you can speak to them and close.
Johan, how old are you?
At 25.
Zach?
22.
Guru?
I don't know.
Mr. Tree?
20.
Isaac?
15.
Ah, wonderful. So I just wanted to confirm. You're 15, right? Well done, Isaac. Very good. Adrian?
So the way we conduct our business is we test a multitude of ad types. From those ads, we provide exceptional leads at the quality which we agree upon. It is quintessential that we separate the smucks from the deliberate buyers and only provide you with the finest leads. And don't worry, we converse with every prospect. Do you have any questions on how we maneuver?
Very nice, except your wording was wrong. The ads don't provide the leads. The ads generate the leads. Other than that, very nicely put. How old are you?
I'm 20.
Wonderful. You act your age. I'm proud of you. Endurance. It's going to be a shit show.
All right, Ishmael. What?
I'm excited to hear how good you're going to be.
Oh, okay. Okay, Ishmael, our system is very simple and highly effective. We look for prospect and send the only gold. So all you got to do is close these deals, which of course is territory that you're very familiar with. Am I correct?
Why are you trying to suck your prospect's dick?
You said look competent.
No, but you're complimenting them. Why? It is normal to close deals. Why are you trying to say it's an exceptional thing to do? It is the standard.
No. Like we're in the same boat, right? Like
yes, you're on the same boat, which means it's not a big boat. You're both on equal boats. You get my point?
Yeah, I understand.
Go again.
Okay, so Ishmael, our system is very simple and highly effective. All right, all you gotta do is meet with this gold prospect that we sent to you and close them. once you make money, we make money as well. Sounds good?
You're too excitable. There's a hint of excitement in your voice. It needs to die. Can you hear it or no?
Yeah, I know. I hear it's a different. It is
Like, you need to remove the excitability and make it factual. It's nothing fucking exciting. This is what you do. Look, I'm going to get you gold. I'm going to qualify everyone. If they're not qualified, I'm not going to send them to you. All I need you to do is close the deals. If I send you someone who's qualified, are you able to close them? They say yes. Yeah, Bob's your uncle. Let me show you how to qualify.
all right. So just be chill. Relax.
Yeah, it's not giving a shit. Because you've done this a million times. It's fairly simple. It's a transaction.
Yeah, it's easy.
You know, like, when someone trades cash for gold, are they excited? No. No. Right? Go, man.
So we provide curated leads directly to your business to ensure that there is no time wasted on anyone's behalf, and all you have to do is secure the client. I'll keep our weekly meetings terse because I know that you have a plethora of other things to be getting on with that are far more important than explaining to me how well we are performing together.
You complimented and you sounded happy.
I enjoy using big words, sorry.
But you also need to enunciate your words properly.
Sure.
You should be speaking the Queen's English, Her Royal Majesty the Late. You must enunciate to show the rest of them that they are inbred. Yes, and there's a reason that your people took all of the other people's spices and gold. Right?
Yeah.
To be fair, I could have added a lot more of your history, but I decided not to. Nick.
Now, Ismael, look, when it comes down to advertising, we take care of it. We do everything from taking the ad, making the design, and everything else in between.
Stop. Enunciate your words. Letters. I want to hear the letters.
Now, Ishmael, look, when it comes down to advertising, we take care of everything. We take care of, oh, sorry, let me go again. When it comes down to advertising, we take care of everything. We take care of the design, we take care of where we advertise, who we are advertising to. And if you're not happy, you can let me know.
It's okay. It's okay. Diego.
So any situation, right?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. I understand your concern about I understand your concern regarding financial side, but what I would suggest to you is when we start to run advertisement and qualify the lead for you, that means you're gonna be able to scale your business, which will be like massive return for you. Therefore, I would like you to consider the lifetime value, which is going to affect your business for the long term. How does that sound to you, considering that the whole process and the results?
Okay, you made two fundamental mistakes then. Firstly, you said twice, but that was only one of the mistakes.
Okay.
You big problem, you justified. Yeah, never justify what the fuck you do. Never justify your pricing. An example where you did it was, I would like you to consider the lifetime value. Rather than say that, you say, I'm a bit confused because your lifetime value is X. We do Y. Sorry, just a bit confused. Never justify, clarify. Massive difference. Granted, your example wasn't a good one because you're dealing with an intellectual buyer. The likelihood that the finances wouldn't make sense would only be if there was no ROI. And if you fuck up the ROI, there's not much that you can do. Oh no, I did something to my screen and then everyone got shuffled. Who hasn't had a go? Everyone had a go? Nicholas, the best speaker here, William Shakespeare himself, please.
Thank you for the honor. So
Ismael, you articulated a desire to undertake a quota of 30 projects on an annual basis. Would your satisfaction be attained if we, as a foundational benchmark, were proficient in administering the management of 30% hereof?
Not bad. Could be a bit better, but I think that's your mic. I'm
probably
also,
the mic then.
I'm also still worried for you that you're in your father's red room. Like, I'm genuinely worried for you.
No, it's my own bedroom at my father's place.
Who decided to make it red?
It's the lighting.
Yes.
See, I can do this, and then it looks totally different.
Oh, do all the bad things go away when the lights turn on?
Yeah. That's all the monsters under the bed go away as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Doesn't help. Igor.
All right, so before I show you our process, I'll have to ask you a couple of questions in order to find out whether you'll be a good fit or not. And if it seems like we can enhance your current client acquisition process, then I'll show you our magnificent presentation, after which you can decide whether you want to be part of it or not. Sounds great?
The only issue is you said magnificent without giving two fucks. You're like a person in the Disney world, the theme park, who's saying it's magnificent and he wants to kill himself because his girlfriend broke up. You get that point?
All right. Yeah.
Wrong word to be using. But also not so much the intellectual buyer, because it's the beginning of the call. Right? Guys, I'm going to be very honest with you. Right? A lot of the shit I teach is arguably, let it load, boring. Right? When we go over vocabulary, it's boring. Niche expertise is boring. But if you can't fucking do it properly, yes, you need to be interactive. Does anyone on this call disagree with the points that I've made today on how to handle an intellectual buyer? No, nobody does. Because these are all the things that you need to do. I recognize that it is boring. I recognize that we're going into more detail than what we should be. Granted, this is touching the detail. I want to do subtopics in each of this. But to close at the highest level, you need to be doing this at the highest level. And the fact that the two 15-year-olds, right, have a tendency to show people up, it is not good. You guys need to be willing to be more interactive, pushing yourself, allowing yourself to be uncomfortable. No one here gives a fuck about you. This is an opportunity for you guys to absorb, to go deeper into everything that's being discussed, to allow yourselves to close more deals. You do not put yourself through 3 hours of me speaking just because you have a crush on me. Now, gentlemen, if that is the case, please vacate. I don't feel the same way. Right? Disgusting. Endurance left. There we go. You see, there's always fucking one. Always one strange person. It's boring, but it fucking works. When you're dealing with an intellectual buyer, you're much likely to close. You guys need to understand how to handle them. You guys need to be putting what is here into practice. And once you do, you start closing. And then you can fuck off. Be like, bye-bye. Right? And then you can see me as your competition. And you're like, I'm going to beat Ismael. Right? Mr. Tree.
Would a good exercise to try this be like watching your sales calls back and pausing it and trying to rephrase it with different words and then looking up the words?
That's a good.
Sorry?
Yes, that is a very good way to do it.
All right. Okay.
But one great example, and it's counterintuitive, but it actually works to your favor. Has anyone here ever watched, let's say, Batman, left the cinema and felt like Batman for a bit? Like as though you had the mindset of Batman as you were walking, like, I'm Batman. How would I handle the situation right now? What would I do if I was Batman? Right? Watch Batman 5 times in 1 week. Watch that be heavily exacerbated in your head. When you do things for selective purpose, it has a massive impact. A retarded example, Did you guys, as when you were younger, some of you, like Leo, I don't think was born, right? When there was those things like the Step Up, those dance movies, right? Like the Step Up Challenge, like dance movies. After watching that, did you think you could dance and you're really tempted to dance? Right? It has a massive impact on how you think and how you desire to act. There are selective things that you can watch, selective people that you can follow. You will become them if you take in enough of that information. Just like you are who your friends are, and the bulk of you, retarded friends, and the bulk of you have cut out friends, which is good. You need to take role models who speak eloquently. Great example, just listen to Jordan Peterson. Not for the sake of the podcast, but the sake of listen to the words he uses, analyze it, and then allow it to be part of you. Don't just listen for the sake of fucking listening. Study the sentences. How is he utilizing it? Why is he utilizing it? How is it never the fucking same? What is he trying to come across as? How is he coming across? How can I do the same? It's when you study at this high level, you're able to perform at a very high level. Now, I'm not saying Jordan Peterson verbatim is the way that you need to be, but there are many people who speak wonderfully, and you need to embody them. Endurance.
So when it comes to an intellectual buyer, like what's the number that makes them one? Is it like over 80K plus to make in a year, or like what's the?
No. An intellectual buyer. Now, there's obviously different points of view, right? There's different opinions. I can make a straight line. Oh, look at that. Borderline perfect straight line. It's always past the point, right? Oh, it's past 2 points, right? This is their expenses, right? This is typically where most 9-to-5ers live, where they just make enough to cover their expenses, maybe a little bit on top. Like an example, there's a lady that I know, she likes to tell me when she deposits her $50 per month into an investment group where they invest the $50, it keeps adding up. That's this group. Yeah. Then you have people who are successful. Like they make a little bit more, but it's hit or miss, right? But they have a little bit of fuck money. This can be classed as an intellectual buyer. But a true intellectual buyer is when they just have fuck money. They're making multi-six figures. They can buy whatever fucking clothes they want. They can go on holidays because it's very small numbers to them. When people are making multiple six figures, everything is honestly a small number. Now, obviously, you've got private jets, all of this like super, super luxury stuff. But the people in this bracket here, where they're well past their expenses, they are the intellectual buyers. So a great example is people who can more than enough afford to send their kids to college in America, as an example. Most of you guys target the USA or Canada. Does that answer the question? I assume it does. And you happy with that? Yeah. Tree.
Now, obviously, you say Jordan Peterson is a good example to listen to. However, he only talks about psychology. Would it be a better idea to listen to someone who talks about sales and real estate then, for example? Because you'll be using other terms and words and stuff, if that makes sense.
You're wrong. The
Why?
reason I say you're wrong is because he uses words to orchestrate the point in psychology. But you can utilize the same words to orchestrate the points or the structure or the sentence structure to orchestrate whatever you want.
Okay, makes sense.
I want to get an example. As this model became more abstract, as a semantic system analyzed the information present in the native format but not understood, man-generated imaginative hypothesis. Okay. Like you can use it for whatever. It's just how people speak.
Okay.
Like, he speaks heavily in, I don't want to call them metaphors. To be fair, I don't know what the fuck they're called, but in hyper-specific but also vague language. Where he'll say a hyper-specific point but use such language that it means so much more.
That they're multiple levels and depth.
A good example, or in the way that I'm seeing it or trying to orchestrate it, a good comparison would be poetry. Because poetry can be read from different people and interpreted different ways to different depths.
I see. Kind of playing with art a little bit in terms of what you say.
Yes, which is honestly what the fuck he does.
Yes. Okay.
Like, this book is generally a joke. Like, multiple readings per chapter if I actually want it. Like, if I read it for my ego, I'll read it in one go, but I'm gonna have to read it a lot of times. But I
can imagine.
But I would also say there's not a lot of people who speak very eloquent. Genuinely not a lot. I can't think of many people off the top of my head, but I don't really watch many people. Like an example, Andrew Tate does not speak eloquently for shit. But he's very good with his words.
Yes, I see. But then if you have the capabilities to talk like Jordan Peterson, you can also talk like a dumbass, right?
Yes.
So it's just better to just try to talk like that.
Of course.
Of course. Okay.
People will see you more seriously.
Yes.
Right? There's Max here. Where's Max? Max isn't here. Okay, wonderful. We've come to a wonderful time on the call where people can either turn off the brain or keep the brain on. Sales call. Sales call review. Crew, you cannot have it preloaded every time. You're a dumbass. Manager. Wonderful. Now, guys, just curiosity, raise your hands if you would have an issue with me going over 3 different presentations on 3 different topics in one day. Okay, wonderful. So let's go with Igor. Which one should we watch?
Leos.
Only problem is it's on Drive, and Drive doesn't seem to work. Actually, no, Drive doesn't work.
Then group.
Group.
You've been reviewing my sales call a few days ago with this sophisticated buyer, and you said that basically I fucked up, and I agree. However, I'm trying to understand if in that case, when he was losing 50% of his business this year, even if it was 50 deals to 20 deals, should I still be not aware of pain, not doing any digging?
How much was the listing price?
1.3 million, maybe something like this.
So how much did he make per deal?
I would need to do the math again, but
give or take. Give or take. 25 to 30,000.
Can you repeat?
25 to 30,000.
Yeah, it's possible.
And then you times that by how many deals did he do?
26.
So what is 25,000 times by 26?
Decent, but he has runs a team with 4 people, so I don't seem it's very amazing number.
Divided by 4, you're looking at 6 figures.
For 162K. So in that case, still not push for a pay.
You can highlight it, but you don't have to push.
Mm-hmm.
He's familiar with money.
Okay.
Oh, I have a lady who's in another country. She says, "Are you busy? I want to show you where I am." But obviously, I have to ignore it because I care about you guys so much, man. You guys are my motivation in life. You're the reason I work. Wonderful. Jack Dabrowski.
Hello.
Okay, I can hear you, but I cannot see you.
Oh, okay.
There we go. How you doing?
Yeah, how are you?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
Good.
So, anyway, we have under 50 minutes. Shall we dive right in?
Why are you saying anyway?
I can hear you, but I cannot see you.
Oh, okay.
There we go. How you doing?
Yeah, how are you?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
Good.
So, anyway, we have under 50 minutes.
Do you recognize you can't do that? Someone says, "How are you doing?" You say, "I'm good. How are you doing?" Great. Anyways.
Can you tell me what specifically about anyways wrong?
It sounds like I don't care what you're saying. Anyways.
I thought that's necessary to move forward with.
No, it's when you're a cunt. Yes, but anyways, like ignore you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Shall we dive right in?
Under 15 minutes?
Yes.
Okay.
So let me give you some clarity how these calls go. First, I would like to ask you a few questions to determine if I can genuinely help you. If I can.
Well done. You move the camera angle backwards since we last spoke. Yes. So that very good.
I will show you exactly how we can help you. If it doesn't make sense after 5 minutes, I'll let you know. We can go separate ways. Sounds good?
Okay.
So obviously, our team gave you a call. You picked up.
Sorry?
Our team gave you a call, and I wanted to ask you what motivated you to jump on this call with me today.
I want to know, what you have, what you are there to offer. So that's why I just joined, to know what is available.
Got it. So basically,
so how you got my number?
From realtor.ca.
Okay. So where you operate from? Where you operate?
I'm in Miami, Florida, in the United States, but we work with Canadian realtors and the US realtors. It's 50-50 currently.
Okay.
So basically what we do, we give qualified leads, not shit ones. So if I understand correctly, you're here because you're interested how you can get more qualified buyers and sellers. Yes?
Okay. Yeah.
So what's your current process of getting leads?
From my friends and relatives and referrals, kind of thing. I'm also new to real estate, so I'm not under market in Canada. Also a little bit slow, so I'm not really busy. I'm doing another full-time job too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so just referrals basically.
Guru, why didn't you ask him? So how many deals have you closed?
Of course, I will ask later.
I know, but it's where you need to ask it now. You have to listen. He just said he's new. He hasn't had much business and the market is slow. So the next question, okay, so how many deals have you closed since you started?
Basically, my process is that I'm trying to understand how many avenues and which ones he has. Then I ask
Isaac.
So I recognize that with myself, if a prospect gives me like 5 different points, like this one did, like I'm new to the business, and what else did he say? Yeah, just referrals and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm struggling with like prioritizing on which points to hit first.
You kind of have to mind it. But you have to listen. Some of it is benign. From here, he said, referrals, he is new to the business, the market isn't moving quickly. All of them say the same thing. He's shit. Not that it's his fault. He's new to the business. The only opportunities he gets family friends, and the market's been slow. Doesn't have much experience. It's all the same thing.
Okay, and he said he does a like part-time job, or what did he say? Yes.
Yeah, he has a full-time job.
Should we go into that first?
No, No. Because it may impact in the future. You may want to utilize it in the future, but right now we need to know how many deals has he closed. Where is it? And I'm pretty sure he gulped quite nicely. So I'm pretty sure he hasn't closed any deals.
Mm-hmm. So asking something like, okay, are you planning on like getting into the real estate business full time? Asking something like that isn't like
Isaac.
necessary.
Isaac, if he's got a full-time
Yes.
job and he just started real estate, why are you asking a stupid question?
Yeah, okay.
You can use it in what you guys like to call a tie down, perfectly fine. But it doesn't add much value. There's a lot more stuff to focus on right now.
Okay.
Sorry?
So you have just referrals, any other sources?
No, that's the main source.
And you're not full time in real estate. It's part-time job.
But from January, I plan to go full time.
Oh,
that's good information.
Understand. So, okay. So speaking about leads, you've mentioned referrals. How many deals have you closed this year from referrals?
Sorry, I could not hear properly. Yeah.
How many?
The audio is not clear.
Can you repeat, please?
No, the audio is not clear. Your audio is not clear.
Mm-hmm. Now, can you hear me better?
Yeah, somewhat better. Yeah.
Okay. So basically, I ask you, how many deals have you closed this year from referrals?
This year, one buying deal, as well as two rentals. That's all. You know, I'm there for 4 or 5 months only.
Oh, okay. So quite new. And you closed one deals with buyers and sellers, with buyer.
Sorry?
You closed one deal with buyers.
Yeah.
Some buyers. Mm-hmm.
Sorry?
Got it. You closed. What's the average listing price you're working with?
No, I'm not able to hear you. Shall I go to the car and sit from there? Because it's loud over here.
Okay, you can try. You can move forward because it's waiting here for him going to car.
Sorry, just one pause. Leo, did you add buy to the end of the message that you sent to a prospect or a client?
Wait.
Thank you, name, buy.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't add
That's
the
Fantastic.
Okay.
Leo, you're officially a retard again. Well done. We thought things were on the up and up for you.
Hello,
Yeah. Hello, Leo. Not good to see you.
Kian, do you want to take over Gru's call review?
I will. Can you just let me know what's going on?
Nothing new. The man doesn't understand. Gru is asking questions. He's not doing too bad. Like all in all, decent, but you know, and the guy is new, never closed a deal. Or I believe he hasn't closed. New to real estate, has a full-time job, only referrals, but I don't think he's closed the deal yet. But I haven't found out.
Okay, when did he join real estate, did he say?
Very recently, he hasn't mentioned it, but he's going full-time after January.
Cool. Has Groove fucked anything up yet?
Not really.
Let's see when he does. What's the timestamp?
4:29.
29. I shall take over and we shall review this and see when Groove messes it up as he always does.
We're happy to have your positivity. Yeah.
Yes, very positive when it comes to Groove. He always has a good call and then he fucks it up at the end. Just doesn't like money, the man's allergic. Then again, if he has anything in his bank, I'll happily take it. He doesn't want it, does he? Is he reconnecting, Groove?
What do you mean?
Is he like joining back or something because it's silent?
He's going to his car because he wasn't able to hear me.
Okay.
What was the average listing price?
Hi, Jack.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yeah, now it's clear. Yeah.
Amazing. So you closed one deal this year with buyer. What was the average listing price?
It was about $90,000.
That doesn't make sense. What was the average listing price? You closed one deal. Well, there's no average because you closed one.
Yes.
That's what the closing price was, not the listing price as well. Because the closing price is indicative of how much you made. The listing price is just how much you put it up for. It could have gone for above or below. Make sense?
Of course.
Yes. Aslan,
So you would always ask for the closing price.
can you just dip down a bit? It's funny seeing your bald heads appearing.
So you would always ask for the closing price, right? Instead of listing price.
It's best to ask for the closing price. You can ask for listing price, but when it's only one deal, just ask for the closing price, right? But the closing price is indicative of how much they actually made. The listing is just how much you put up for. Bear in mind, it normally doesn't have such a big range when you're dealing with listings under 1 mil. Anything above 1 mil, it can be stupid, right? I've had calls with agents in Beverly Hills where a property can go for 20 million, right? They put it up for 25, they can close at 20. That's 5 mil. That's a big difference in commission.
So if there's more than one deals, would you despite ask?
It's always best to ask what the closing price was.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
900,000.
900,000. Okay, it's basically below the average in Toronto. What's the area?
It is like around that price for the house. So it's in Brampton.
Okay, so what was the take home from that deal?
Sorry?
What was the take home?
You should have made a remark about how you know that area very well and ask him, is that where you mainly work?
How much percentage do you take?
2.5%.
Okay, 2.5%. So basically, you're looking for average listing price around 1 million.
Offline.
Does it actually make sense to ask the take home? Because in Toronto, there is 2.5% take home from the deals.
In most places, it's 2.5%, but what's the broker split? That can range from nothing to they take 30% to,
Right.
in cases I've seen, 50 to 70.
Yeah, the broker split is 2.5 to 2.5, like 5%. They split it the half.
No, they don't. That's not the broker split. Okay, so the way it works in real estate, right, is you have the closing price. So let's say something sold for $1 million, right? And then what's paid out, and this is on the seller side, but there's now a lawsuit about getting on the buyer side. So let's say it's $1 million, 2.5% of that would get paid out, which would be 25,000. That's not the agent's commission. The agent's commission is after the broker's taken their cut. Now, in some cases, the broker will take 0%. Other times it will take, let's say, 30%, which in this case would mean that the agent is left with 17.5. But you also need to find out if anyone else has taken any cuts. Because like I said, there's been situations where I've seen 70% of a commission is completely evaporated because the broker takes a split and some sort of mentoring thing takes a split. And if you're taking a split, well, you're getting 30% of that 17.5. Right, so it just whittles down to the point where they can end up with nothing. And it wouldn't even make sense for them to sign with you, depending on your offer. If you're taking commission, but they've had 70% taken away, and then you're going to take 30% of the 30% that they get. Well, does it make sense to even go with the call? It doesn't make any financial sense for them to sign up on a deal like that. You'd have to rearrange the offer. So it's very important you know every person who's taken a cut. But normally, it would just be the broker. If it's someone else, will let you know.
Understood.
And the way you get them to let you know is you say, well, after you worked out, let's say 2.5%, you ask. So on average, you get about 17.5 in commission. If they say yes, then you know there's no one else. If they say no, then they'll probably tell you that it's someone else taking a bit more, which changes the equation drastically when it comes to taking commissions.
Understood. Thank you.
Blank.
Hey, Keen. So do you have any examples of what you can do if they already have like a split with the broker and the mentorship and stuff?
In that case, money's going to be tight. So it might be best to do pay for light transfer, for example, where they can basically choose how many they want to take, where they know that when they close a deal, then they're not going to get shit on, and they're only going to take as much as they can afford. And does that mean that's going to give you a whole lot? No, because they're fucking broke, right? Because another thing, nobody will ever deduct that much unless they have no option, right? If they're whittled down to 70%, 30%, 70% taken off the top, it's because they have no choice.
Yes.
Right?
Okay.
And it says a lot about them and their mindset and the fact that they're looking short term, not long term, and all of this stuff. And they don't really expect themselves to succeed anyway. But you need to do something which is just cash. No, you're not taking a percentage, you're taking cash.
Okay.
And it would need to be something that doesn't look at me.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've just started a few months ago. Have you tried different methods of lead sourcing aside from referrals?
No, as I said, I'm going to concentrate from this year more. That's the thing, yeah.
Got it. So basically, you closed one deal. Do you have some goal for the next year aside from?
Why is he only based on referral if he's only closed one in a year? You also need to find out how long it's been in real estate, because as far as I'm aware, we don't have a few months. But why has he not started someone else? If it's been a few months, only one referral's come in. How long is it going to take for him to generate a name? Few years, right? How long can he survive only on referrals? Now he has another job, but he started real estate because he wants to get away with it, of course. He doesn't want to have a boss, all of these things, but he also doesn't want to run a business. That tends to be why people become real estate agents. So your question should be, well, why are you only running off referrals? Or what's your goal? What's your goal is a good question to ask, but not right now.
Making real estate.
There are a few people asked and they are waiting, and for a couple of my friends, we have applied for credit if they got approved, because now because of the rate of interest, the approval ratings have come down. So the total amount, so we are waiting, yeah.
Got it. So what's your plan in terms of deals closed for the next year?
Minimum 10 deals I wanted to close,
So you want to go from 1 to 10 next year?
Yeah. Because this year...
Did you pick up on what he said?
What do you mean?
He said he's got friends who are looking at credit. Now, you have to look at culturally, friend can mean a lot of things to a lot of different people depending on where you're from, right? But you need to point out the fact that he wants to get 10. How many of his friends are going to get approved? And he just said that, approval rates are going down. How many friends does he have?
Would you
if only
ask
10% of them get
kind of
approved?
question?
Literally. Just point out, like, how many friends do you have? Because if only 10% of them get approved, you need 100 friends to hit your goal.
I like that.
I was not really focusing on real estate. Yeah.
Yes.
So next year, definitely I'll do better.
Yes, because obviously you're new and you also do have some different job.
Exactly.
So you would be able to move to real estate full time if you hit 10 deals.
Correct.
So what's your plan to get to those 10 deals?
Actually, I talk to more people, and we have a website called the KV Core kind of thing through the brokerage. So through that, I'm going to try, and I'm going to try through some, social media and stuff like that. Yeah.
So basically organic marketing.
Yeah.
Any other plan?
You think he's been in here this long enough to know this between organic and outreach? See, here's the thing, when it comes to how you speak to people, it needs to be in the words they understand. Organic is a marketing term. Do you think he knows marketing if he's saying that he's going to begin marketing? It won't, so you need to ask, what are you going to do with your ads? Like your social, you didn't say, I just said social media. You're going to do on social media. Is it going to be posting? Find out what he's going to do. Right, ask why he hasn't done it yet. That's where you need to go to find the pain. You need to speak to him in a language which makes sense to him, because organic's not going to mean anything to him, which is why he's just agreeing. Yeah.
Is it a way to show knowledge, that you have knowledge in a niche and also in your service?
Yes, but he doesn't know that that's knowledge.
Oh, yeah, makes sense.
Right, because it's case dependent. If you've got someone who's, for instance, done ads before, work with a marketing agency, something like this, they might know the difference. They won't know what organic refers to. But if someone hasn't done marketing before, what's the chances? Another way you can go around it, if you really want to say organic, is so organic things like blah 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 blah. Right, making posts, doing stories, do stuff like this. Right, and that could do it, but you want to speak in their own terms. And this guy is not the type of guy who knows what organic means.
Plans, methods you want to utilize?
So far, nothing, because everybody doing the same thing. So if that's why I wanted to know what you are going to say and how it works. So something new, then we can see.
Of course, we will get down into it. Just can I ask you a few more questions before I show you the presentation? I want to make sure that I can genuinely help you in your process of from getting from 1 to 10 deals next year. So you've mentioned that you're going.
That was a good handle.
Going to test organic growth and basically speak with more people, referrals, sphere of influence. Aside from these methods, are you looking for something in terms of lead generation?
Yeah. So how it works, I don't know. Yeah.
Because obviously, if you're looking to close more deals, because referrals are not predictable.
Ask him if he's aware of what's on the market. If you can gauge his level of market awareness, you know how to guide him. And this is the type of person who needs guidance, right? Because it's all well and good you can find pain, but you need to be able to understand where he is in the buyer's journey. What I mean by this is, what I mean is he aware of what different solutions there are? Is he aware of like the basic ones like Zillow, Redfin, Realtor.com? Is he aware of different marketing strategies, or is he aware of the different offers people are providing? Does he know the price points? Is he aware of the pros and cons of different things? Basically, he's not an intellectual buyer, of course, right? But you need to be able to gauge his knowledge level when it comes to this.
How would you handle that in terms of questions?
See here?
Yeah. So how it works, I don't know. Yeah.
Because obviously
he says how it works, I don't know. You just ask. So, are you familiar with the different things, different solutions out there, or have you looked into anything before? One of those two questions will tell you where he is. But if you looked into stuff before, then you might have an idea of why it works, and then you can go in with why haven't you done any of it?
Okay.
Right, because if he's aware of Zillow but he hasn't used Zillow, I'm not saying Zillow's the best. I don't like it personally. I know a lot of realtors don't like it, but a lot of realtors have made a lot of money. And it's a start, and it's the one that realtors tend to go for. So if he hasn't gone for that, why not? Is he even aware of it? Or is he just hoping that his friends will get approved and he can find 1,000 friends in the space of a year and convince them all to try and buy a house?
If you're looking to close more deals, because referrals are not predictable, would you agree?
Exactly. Yeah.
You cannot predict the market. So if you rely only on referrals,
because they are already so many realtors in Toronto, so everybody knows minimum 2 to 3 realtors already before me.
Yeah, you're totally
so
right.
Some of them they already dealt with, even my close relatives, they dealt with one person. Maybe they are more comfortable with dealing with him because I'm new also.
Ouch. His mother would go with a different agent. Right? He is insecure about what he's doing. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's insecure about it, and he doesn't know if he can make it work. And the statement gives it away because the fact that his relatives are going away, he's not pushing them to come to him. Right? It shows where he's at.
Also,
this is what you need to be picking up with.
Later on, he admitted that he's insecure about his abilities, that he converted the leads I sent him.
There you go. Right, you can see it here. This is the pain you need to be pulling on.
Does that even make sense to speak with these kind of leads?
Well, can you get money off this guy?
I don't know, honestly.
If you pull enough pain out of him, he doesn't really have a fucking option, does he? Right? But this is the type of guy where I don't think you'd want to be pushed. But you need to find the pain, but you don't push him into a solution. You show him a solution. And it looks really good and shiny. And the thing that will hold you back is his ability to do it, but then why is he in real estate in the first place? Right? So then you need to bring some hope into it. And position your solution that's going to fix his problem, which is all it is. Right? All these prospects are just people with problems.
So they think, okay, it's a big purchase. How? So the breakthrough is main thing I'm looking for.
Yes, especially Toronto is very competitive market.
Very,
so
very
basically, if you rely just on referrals,
yeah,
would you agree that it's hard to get 10 deals next year just on referrals?
Yeah.
So
it's a small thing you can add. Just say, especially in Toronto, I know the market very well. I have a lot of agents there. And then say exactly what you said. Just adding that small bit will show that you have experience in his area, so you know it well, and you know a lot of areas. Right? You've pressed on this. If you push it more, you will see you more so as an expert, but so far the framing's good anyway. But it's just a little thing you can add, which will make it better.
So would you have if I will show you the system right now, what we do and how we do in terms of lead generation, how we can get qualified buyers and sellers based on your criteria. If it makes sense, what I show you right now, would you be moving forward with this in a few months, in a few weeks, or as fast as possible?
Yeah. So if makes sense, definitely yes. Yeah.
As fast as possible.
Yeah.
So if you're happy with the system and pricing, you move forward today.
Yeah.
Vipal?
Yes, yeah, I can.
Definitely. Are you ready for the presentation?
Now, Guru, you didn't do anything wrong. You just didn't do enough.
Can you expand on that?
You haven't done anything wrong throughout this call. Your framing's good, your questions are good, but you've moved on to the presentation too fast. There's more information you can extract. Because I picked up on his insecurity before he admitted to it. And if I can pick up on it, that means that you can ask questions about it. You could have pushed him down a road where he has to admit the fact that he's not going to get to where he wants to be. And that would be stronger than what you just did here.
Yeah.
Do
totally.
this, right? Do this as well. But it's far stronger if you have a conversation about it. Because then it's his idea instead of him confirming your idea. And if it's his idea, then there's motivation. Right? Because I can tell you the sky is blue. But if you never see the sky is blue, it's just my word. You don't believe it's blue. You just heard it's blue. But if you walk outside, you see a beautiful sky, it's blue. Well, now the sky is fucking blue. And nobody can argue with you that it's going to be green. If I say it's blue and someone else says it's green, you know, it could be either one. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Endurance.
So what are some questions you can ask to push on the insecurities of him?
Well, when they come up, right, you want to find an angle in which they're not doing enough to counter it. You have to think, this guy, I picked up on the fact that he doesn't feel like he's good at his job. What would someone who doesn't feel they're good at their job do? Not do their job. They don't feel they're good at it. Right? So get him to admit that. Now, how would you do it? Well, find out what he's not doing. Find out why he's not doing it. Get him to admit to why he's not doing what he should be doing. Why he's not looking into marketing. Right? Another great question you can ask is, if I hadn't called you, would you have still been looking for solutions? Right? Gauge how active he is in the market. Because all you need is people to admit things. They have to be their words of admittance. It can't be yours, and they confirm it. Because they're two very different things, and they have two very different levels of commitment from their side. Make sense? Aslan?
To point his insecurities, would you ask him, like, you've been in the real estate market for a few months, but you've been relying on your friends and you haven't tried anything before. Why is that?
It's too aggressive. Right? don't just point it out and say why, right? Ask. Like, there's many examples here where you can ask something that's a bit better. But for instance, so what solutions have you been looking at? Oh, you haven't looked at it. Why not? Right. This is where I was saying, if you gauge his understanding of the market and his ability to identify what solutions are out there, that will give you a good indication of how many calls he's hopped on, how many things he's looked into. Ask him why he's not doing it. It hasn't gone with anyone so far. What about it was it? If he says price, well, other than the price, why didn't you go? It's just price. Did you not think you're going to make an ROI? Well, you do, but so why didn't you put the money forward in order to make money? If I show you something great now, are we going to have the same issue? Why do you think that was? Right, and then it's all on them. They have to tell you why they never did what they should have done. But they're never going to go back and think, you know what, that solution is really great, because they're on a call with you. Right, they're just going to realize that they never did something that they should have.
Okay, so we make them realize that they need solution right now because he didn't do anything.
But they should have done it months ago.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. I'm new. I'm open for new offers and stuff. Yeah, definitely.
So at Advertay, what we do, basically we are the best partner for securing more closed deals every month. I put the emphasis on what partner because we work on the partnership terms and we come in to bring you more buyers and sellers towards your business. And everything what we do is run through your own accounts. So everything is exclusive for you. We don't share your leads with any other realtor. Make sense?
Yeah.
Nice stress on the word partner. Nice introduction.
What about our process? Basically, how we get leads and qualified people to your door. First of all, we create custom lead generation campaign, especially on Facebook, Instagram. We use all platforms you can imagine, Google ads, Facebook ads, Instagram ads, but we found the best results on Facebook. And basically, we create 72 different ads, creatives, copies, headlines, call to actions to test what's working specifically in the area. It allows us to get as lowest.
Like I said, it doesn't know what the fuck a headline is or a creative. Most people don't know what creative means. They think image. Right.
So how would you say that in simpler way?
You've got two options. Say so we new text, new images, new everything. Or you say exactly what we said and say, and these are all the different components that make up an ad. And we make them all 72 times over.
Okay.
Right. Just a little bit of education can be given, shows you as more of an expert, you speak his language.
Cost per lead as possible. So basically, we get a lot of leads for very low price through Facebook ads. What's more important than getting leads to the door is that we have internal team of agents who call and speak with every lead we get through Facebook and qualify them based on your criteria and give them to you only if they're within your criteria. So it's not like you receive thousands of unqualified people that you need to vet by yourself. You receive appointments with people who are ready to buy or sell in the next few months based on your criteria.
Bit of a false promise there, but honestly, you said it very well. Good emphasis, good tonality.
Do you see the difference between random online lead and pre-qualified by CA?
Yeah. Okay. So for the Facebook,
make that an assumptive question. It says, "Well, can you see the difference?" So you can see the difference between this and that, but do that after you've shown him the quality. They don't know how qualified they are. Show him, so telling him. Once you've shown him, get the confirmation in an assumptive fashion.
it's in the same Advertay company name, and you get the leads, or what do you tell them and get the lead?
We work as your agents. So
because now you have this question. If you just showed him, he would know exactly what you said. Make sense?
What do you mean?
He's now asking about your qualification, right? What name do you give him at the end? How do you do it? If you had shown him, he would know. So he's not going to be thinking about how this works. He's going to be thinking, this is good, which is going to elicit the emotional response that you desire, which is him seeing the benefit, not him wondering how the fuck it works. You haven't told him. Well, you've told him instead of showing.
We run everything under your personal brand, under your company. Basically, everything we do is yours in terms of exclusivity. Because if you would rather, we work as your agents, and we work as you.
So on behalf of me, as if somebody from my office calls the client like that, you guys will be calling?
Yes, we work as an agents, as your agents, basically.
Okay.
So basically, everything is run. You have your Facebook page, am I right?
Yes, yeah, but
We
I'm
run
not really active on it, yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree, but we can run ads through your own accounts as yourself to build also your personal brand in the same time. And your brand.
This is a long diversion. If you just showed him before asking a question, you wouldn't be wasting a minute. Right? Because you always have to think, what is the prospect thinking? Is he thinking good, or is he wondering how it works? And you want him thinking you're good. So this is your time to show off how good you are. Right? So just by moving your question to the next phase, which is in literally 5 minutes, you would have avoided all of this, and you'd be thinking, well, an efficient process. This is good because you said it well. And sure, you're handling this well, but you didn't have to handle it.
Brand awareness in Toronto area. So that's how we operate. And all leads we get or appointments are exclusive for you. We don't share these leads with anyone else because we run the ads from your account.
Okay.
And so you agreed that the quality is much better than with lead pre-qualified by CA than random online lead. We also follow up with every lead we get to our CRM system. On a weekly basis, we send them emails with value, depending on the campaign. Seller.
And why are you telling him this? You are justifying your own existence. You just say enough to shut him up so you can move on. You're giving him an elevator pitch. It's not necessary. But you're going to show him how the fuck it works in a moment. Right, you're not doing yourself justice.
Sellers, buyers, valuable content about real estate. At this moment, do you have any questions about the process?
Didn't ask this because he should have a bunch of fucking questions. You haven't shown him how it works yet. You're giving him an elevator pitch, which you're never supposed to do.
No. So is it okay to take you'll be sending this presentation to me?
Basically, it's very...
Yeah.
What do you mean by elevator pitch?
It's an old sales term from basically when, so think of a scenario where you've got like a 9-to-5er who's got the CEO in an elevator and he's pitching his brand new idea, and they have to do it within about 45 seconds before they hit the ground floor. Right? It does not work because you are showing instead of telling. You want to avoid this at all costs. Because what happens, like what happened with Gru, is you end up justifying your own existence. And the only reason he's asking for the presentation is because now he's confused. Now he's thinking this must be complicated. Let me review. So he's putting up an objection which is going to make the close harder because he believes it's a complicated system. Now he's thinking, I'm going to have to go back and review this because there's more to it that I'm not going to see. Because 2 questions were placed in the wrong order.
Straightforward. You launch ads, get very good, a lot of leads for very low price, qualify people based on your criteria, and schedule appointments only if the lead is within your criteria, and follow up with people. This is complicated?
Okay.
So let me go through what you can expect in terms of quality, because at the end of the day, the quality is the king. Would you rather get 300 unqualified people or 10 appointments?
Have we come to the conclusion that this man says okay when he doesn't understand what the fuck Gru is saying?
I thought we already covered that.
Do you understand everything? Okay. Do you have any questions? Okay. Please carry on.
With ready to buy or sell.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we do. So let me play one of example of our qualifying call done by
who found located currently.
So I don't know who is calling. What?
All right, thank you.
Bye-bye.
So do you see why and how getting all of this information about your buyers and sellers makes a massive difference
So
when you're
on
actually
a
in front of them?
yeah, just by calling, are they willing to give so much information?
Mm-hmm. What do you mean?
Because so,
You should have just left that.
What do you mean?
Yes, don't say what do you mean. Leave it at because then there was a silence, and that silence would have answered his question.
I used too
But
much.
now you no, that was a good It's not a good But what do you mean was bad? Because there was a silence here, right?
yeah, just by calling, are they willing to give so much information?
Mm-hmm. What do you mean?
You broke your nerve. If you had just had fucking confidence in your silence, his question had been answered.
Would have been stronger words, but you know.
Yeah. You know, can't have everything. It's screwed. But she just left it with the silence. So much more powerful. But now, again, in this call, it shows that you are worried about the call not closing to where you over-explain. And at the minute,
can you not worry about the result, or?
No, you are worried about the result.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Which is why you're now having a tendency to over-explain and justify yourself. But you know what he means. You've given him an answer. He thought it was adequate, hence he stopped talking. And you did this before when you started talking about your fucking emails, how great your qualification is. He hasn't even seen the fucking thing. And then you throw up an objection saying he wants the presentation. Because you're talking too much.
Because so, most of the time when the call comes like this, are you looking to buy a house to me? If it comes, I say no, like that. So I don't know who is calling. What is that? So I don't know. This lady is even on the first call prepared to give the informations and meet somebody.
Yeah, just to clarify, it's example of qualifying call, successful qualifying call. Like I said before, we get a lot of leads to advertising. Most of people do not pick up the phone. Some of them pick up and saying they are not interested even in buying or selling real estate. So from vetting all of these people, we get qualified appointments like this. And on average, we can get around 10.
You said too much. If you wanted to go this route, you say, yeah. A lot of people say no, a lot of people don't pick up. This is the work we do. We make sure they are qualified and we only bring them to you if you're qualified. That's why we're so good at what we do. Right? Instead of where it now sounds like a negative, make it a positive. Make sense?
Yes. Appointments each month with this quality.
Okay.
That's what you can expect working with us. 10 appointments with qualifying calls recorded for you and all information gathered from the prospect based on your criteria. So if you can get 10 appointments each month like this, what do you think? How many of these would you be able to close?
Asking too many questions formulated like this. If we did this, would this be good? You've asked this type of question 6 times now. 5-6 times. Ask more creative questions. Make it sound like a conversation. This sounds heavily scripted. Because your sentences follow the same structure.
Yeah, maybe at least 1, maybe.
Even if you close 1, you can hit your next year goal, 10 deals.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So do you see that's possible?
Yeah.
So would you like to listen to other calls or you have the concept?
So I find, I know the concept, with this call. So these are all the other ones also the same call like that, isn't it?
No, they are different calls. For example, this one is from...
You will be pissed off.
I will be pissed off. I'm going to skip. But, Guru, This isn't fucking necessary. He doesn't need to hear another one. Why are you asking him? He understands. You're over explaining.
During this call, I was feeling that he doesn't understand.
He doesn't understand what you're saying, sure. But he gets that you're good. And the more you talk, the less he understands it. Right? Because if someone tells you, I'm good, I'm good, I'm good, I'm good, I'm good, or someone just says, yeah, I'm really good at my job, what one do you believe more? Right.
Useless words.
Fewer words, say more. I'm going to skip this, obvious reasons.
I don't know if you know, if you agree, but the money is in the follow-up.
What are you saying? Just say the money's in the follow-up. Tell him the money's in the follow-up. We do the follow-up. We do it the best. You're lacking confidence. If there's more confidence, more assertion in your wording, in your tonality, in your question structure, giving statements, right? It's so much better. If you say, I don't know if you agree, but I think the follow-up's really good. Versus, money's in follow-up. We do great follow-up. Here's our follow-up. Walking through the follow-up. One shows that you know what you're talking about. If you need the opinion of a man who has closed one deal, you can't be fucked to do marketing. He thinks he's going to get 100 friends so he can close his 10 deals next year solely off referrals, even though he's been doing it for a couple months. You're a madman. Not a serious businessman. So you want to sound and be treated like a serious businessman, talk like one. Right? Because I'm not going to ask your opinion on something. I'm going to tell you that my opinion is fact. It's not even an opinion. It's just true. And that's how you have to come across.
So would you give this kind of bold statement? The money's in the follow-up. That's it.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
We both know the money's in the follow-up. Tell him what he knows, even if he doesn't. He's not going to disagree. Because if he disagrees, well, he's close one fucking deal. Right? And you should be have him under the impression that you have 1,000 clients all over the world. Right? Making millions a month. So whose opinion matters more?
Sorry?
The money is in the follow-up. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
Basically, I speak with around 10 realtors a day. And basically, I hear that so
Basically should be out of your vocabulary. Remove it.
often that they
Remove the word basically from your vocabulary.
Basically. And
yes, your brain is basic. Remove it.
Basically don't know how to follow up properly. That's the reason why we trained our team to handle the follow-up process for you. We follow up with every lead we get to our CRM system, and we call them at least 3 times a day. So that's the reason why we can get a lot of appointments for not that huge amount of leads. And we follow up with every lead, buyers, sellers, and we tailor.
You have said a bunch of fluff. Alright, just show him the follow-up. Tell him it's good. Demonstrate why it's good. Read him through it and tell him the psychology behind it. Right? You don't need to give a big spiel about how realtors aren't going to follow up in your experience, right? I had a conversation with someone a couple months ago, and he was having a conversation with someone else. I busted in actually. But he says, from our experience, Facebook has worked the best. And the other guy was saying, well, I just say Facebook has worked the best. I was like, well, why the fuck would you say from your experience? Why aren't you saying it's a fact? Why are you saying from my experience, from the 10 to 15 realtors beats a day, just say the follow-up is what makes deals not close. And we handle it. Not how well you handle it, because he doesn't know. Right? Because he doesn't know if it's good to call him 3 times a day. He might think it's excessive. He might think it's not enough. If you don't know, then why would you say? Doesn't make much sense. Guru,
Yes.
your confidence is slipping, but your skill is still there. Have more confidence.
Have more confidence. That's what you're saying?
Yes. Because it's not that you don't know what to do, it's that you're not confident in what to do.
I know, obviously, this call is dog shit. Basically, that was the reason why when I wanted to review
It's not shit. You just fuck things up because you overthink.
Mm.
Stop overthinking. Do your work. Ishmael, do you have anything left to say?
Yeah, one final point, just to understand. It's a nice, easy Miro, just to explain to you guys what it means when we say speak less words. And it's a very simple way to understand it. Right? Let me just share my screen. Share. Give it 2 seconds. Yeah, there we go. It's common. I don't know if it's demand. It's not demand supply, but nice and simple. Let's say great. If great is distributed 100 times versus great is distributed 10 times, which one has more value per time it's distributed? 10 times. If you explain...
I think division might be a bit complicated.
Huh?
Division might be a bit complicated.
Is this too complicated, you believe?
Yeah, because we might touch on fractions and the number on top of the other number.
When you explain something, right? If you can say it in 20 words rather than 200 words, you are an expert because you've been able to condense all of this into 20. It's a sign of intelligence. When you can put the exact same thing that someone takes 200 words, 20 words, it is a sign of intelligence, right? The less words you utilize, the smarter you sound. It is difficult to make short sentences and orchestrate the same meaning as paragraphs. But if you are able to do so, you are categorically smarter. Use less words. It's more impactful. It's much better to write a six sentence poem expressing your love to a person rather than a 600 one. After a while, it loses all its fucking value. And it's just some long ass poem that needs to be read. Short, to the point, will get you greater results. Nice and simple. Okay, wonderful, guys. It's been emotional. Honestly, this one, guys, this is one for the memory books. I'm going to journal this. I'm going to write about it because this has been truly a great call. Like the way you guys have impacted my heart on this call, revolutionary.
I came here late and I'm so disappointed I haven't been here for the full 3 hours.
Yeah,
I can feel my heart fluttering.
You missed so much. You know, these guys, they make me proud.